Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I am joined by
Hillary,
Sarah,
and our special guest today. We are very excited to have actor Michelle Pokopac today.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. All right, so our movie today, guys, that we're going to be talking about is She-Devil, starring Meryl Streep and Roseanne Barr. I think she was going by Barr at the time.
Barr. Yep.
1989. And Michelle, on behalf of the podcast world everywhere, I'm sorry that we made you watch this movie.
I am not apologizing.
Twice.
I thought it was amazing.
Oh, wow.
Not apologizing.
I
that's from those
Polar
two
opinions.
only.
Here we go.
I'm going to be real with you. I am questioning whether this is maybe the worst movie we've ever watched for this podcast.
Oh, dear God. Thank you.
I don't
You
know,
have
guys.
a
Love
unique
Story
honor.
was pretty
Love
bad.
Story was
Actually,
the
yeah,
worst.
Love Story was awful. So this is not the worst, but it's definitely up there.
Okay.
So She-Devil, 1989.
Ed Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr. And director Susan
Seidelman. Yeah, she also directed Desperately Seeking Susan.
which I would love to watch on this podcast. Does
Okay.
anybody know?
I don't know
Okay,
anything
that's
about it.
Roseanne Arquette and Madonna's first movie role.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right.
Yeah. And now Michelle's like, I wish we had watched that instead of this.
Yeah.
No.
I thought this would be fun. And
I mean,
in
Meryl's
some worlds,
in it, so
yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
There's certainly a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So
for
much.
sure. Okay. So before we get into talking about the film, let's talk a little bit about everybody's experience with She-Devil before the podcast. Hillary.
I didn't know anything about this movie, and I asked Christo if he'd watch it with me, and he watched the trailer and then goes, yeah, I'll watch it with you. And I was like, okay, cool. And I still didn't know anything about it, and then we watched it, and it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
my God.
Wow.
I loved
I'm
this movie.
rethinking
Oh my
my
God.
friendship with you, Hillary.
Oh,
I
dear
loved
God.
this movie.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
You can rethink it. I'm holding firm. This is a good movie.
Yes, you are. You better.
I had never even heard of this movie, and then I asked my mom if she had seen it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, a few times. It was cute."
It was
And
cute. I would
yeah.
not describe this movie as cute.
I know.
It's like
Yeah,
the last adjective I would use to
Whoa,
describe
whoa,
this
whoa.
movie.
Judgments aside. Let her speak. Let her speak.
And so I was like, okay, I guess if my mom thinks it's cute, then I don't know. It must be semi cute.
I'm questioning my friendship with your mom now.
Oh my God, no.
I'm not questioning
I mean,
anything.
she last saw it in '89,
Oh, okay.
so
All right.
it was probably like doesn't remember it that well. But so this is the first time that I saw
Okay. All right. And Michelle.
So this is the first time that I've seen this movie too. I didn't know much at all about it, except I did recognize a scene from it once I started watching it, because they did like a. What did Meryl Streep? She won that award for like the Golden Globes. or something.
She was
Yeah.
nominated for a Golden Globe for this movie.
Oh, for this movie.
Man,
Yes.
she deserves it.
Nicole's like,
Anyway, she got some sort of like lifetime achievement thing
Yes,
recently,
yeah.
and one of the clips that was shown was from this movie, and so that's the scene that I recognized. But
Okay.
other than that, it
What
was
scene
all
was
fresh.
it?
It was the one where she's taking a bath with Bob, and
Yeah.
there's a soap in the pool
Yeah.
with the curtain, and then she just makes this awkward exit as the kids are like, "You got satellite, you got this," and then she just goes.
Yeah.
Like makes her exit.
Flits away into the bubbles. Yeah.
So that was my only exposure to it beforehand.
Okay. I am older than everyone at this table, so I grew up in the time that this movie was out. At the time, Roseanne's show had just ended its first season. Or wait, when it came out, I think it was in its second season.
Oh, okay.
And I watched that show. My mom, who may or may not listen to this podcast, because when I told her we were doing this movie, she was like, I'm not watching that. And I was like, okay, well, you could listen to the podcast. And she's like, I don't even think I want to hear about that Roseanne. Like, she hates Roseanne.
People like have these strong opinions about her.
Yes.
They either really like her or they hate her.
Yeah.
So okay.
So there's a lot of sexy time things in this movie that would have not been something my mom would have wanted me to see. So I did not see that and the fact that she hates Roseanne. So I didn't see this in the theater or anything. I would have been about 10 years old. Yeah, 10 years old when this movie came out. I remember watching it when it came on HBO, but or TV somewhere, but I don't remember a lot about it. Like, Sarah watched this with me and I didn't really remember hardly any of it, but I had seen it before. It was not super memorable. I do remember that scene where she's walking away from the house.
super memorable to me.
I watched so many movies in the 80s, you know?
I will dream about this movie forever.
Oh, wow.
So good.
Hurley's like, if only I had
Infatuation.
written this myself.
Really and truly, that is how I feel. It's like how I felt when I first saw Dominatrix Break Room. I
What?
was like,
No.
I wish I had written that.
Oh gosh, Dominatrix
Yeah.
Break Room is
No,
so much
they're
better
in
than
different
this.
categories for sure. Dominatrix Break Room is like good in a different way.
Okay,
It's like actually good. This is like so bad it's good.
okay, I'm
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
understanding that.
That's like
all right.
part
I
of
get
it.
that. I
Okay.
get
It's
that.
so bad it's
The
good.
Lord.
Like
Okay.
I'm not like, wow, this movie deserves every Oscar.
Guys, it's so fucking
no,
deep.
it's so bad it's good. That's where
Okay,
I'm
I
coming
can
from.
get on board with that.
where
I
I'm
liked
coming
it
from.
on board with that.
the second time I saw it more a little
Me
bit.
too.
I
I just thought this
appreciated
was
some of the
hilarious.
lines more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was our experience with She Devil prior to the podcast. So let's get into talking about this movie, She Devil.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man. You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Shall we talk about this movie?
Yeah,
She
shall
Devil?
we?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's talk about the
change the
stocks,
subject.
you guys. All right, so She Devil. Roseanne Barr, Meryl Streep, Ed Begley Jr. We start. We start with this animated title sequence. I don't think there's a lot to
With a
say
bunch of
about
angel
that.
babies
Pink
in it.
silk sheets and cherubs holding hearts.
They were crazy about the animated titles in the 80s.
And then
We've
everything
discovered.
Yes.
went up in flames.
Yep. And we get the title, She Devil. And then we go into this kind of like beauty montage, where we're at the beauty counter and women are
Perfume
putting
spritzing.
perfume spritzing. Women are putting on makeup. We see all these lips. I loved the image of the teenagers.
With the braces,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
They're
loved
starting
it.
young.
Well,
what they're doing.
Too much.
there was a lot of things in this movie that I found poorly executed, I'll say. I felt like
yep.
this scene was well executed. I
Okay.
thought it made the whole routine of it look very absurd.
Yes,
Let's make
it
the
did.
obvious choices in this film, I think is what this whole thing was just.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to
Yep.
describe
Yeah.
it. But this, I thought, worked well. There was all the things and the spritzing people. Like, do people still get spritzed in the face at the mall? I haven't been in the mall in
I don't think
ages.
so.
I
With
do not.
perfume.
They'll offer you perfume, but they don't spritz it on you. They hand you a card with it so you can sniff it. And if you want it on your body,
Too many
they
hives.
will do it. But like it was kind of a pain. My grandmother was there and she was like, I want all the perfumes to test. And I took her to the Dillard's counter and it was great.
Yeah, you can't put on more than one perfume. So
Yeah.
Well,
My
apparently your grandmother can.
Rule.
suicide perfume.
Yeah.
So we're seeing all these beautiful women. We're hearing the voiceover from Roseanne's character, Ruth, talking about how some women are born beautiful and others have to work a little harder at it. And then we get her face. I know. I didn't mean to say it like that. Like, I actually don't think she's, like, they try to make her look
They tried
quite
to
monstrous.
make
They
her-
tried really
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Like, too hard.
Like, does
Yeah.
a mole really define that?
Thank you. I wrote that
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
like 40 times.
Yeah.
The mole is too much.
Yeah.
That fucking mole, like, I could not, sometimes I could not look at anything else.
I know.
It's saying like if you have a mole in your face, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Like basically.
But they were trying so hard. They're like, look at her hair and she's overweight and she can't, get the dress
Can't
on
fit
at
on
the
the
department store. But that's the character and that's fine.
But that is how I feel in department stores, though.
yeah,
Especially if
totally.
I go by myself, I'm like, I can't zip this shit up, and then I go out to look at myself in the mirror, and then some like
Other
size
thinner person. I
-2
know.
walks out and is like, I am a waif in the same dress as you.
I
And it's like,
didn't
ugh,
like how her
okay.
character started out because it was like one of her lines was, "I'm going to do whatever it takes to look great," and I just don't associate that with Roseanne.
But I do think that is something her character would say.
Yeah.
Like this character, I think, yes.
Yeah.
I think
just
she
sad.
did mean that. Well, I think she was doing what a lot of us do. Like, we didn't mention this, but she's supposed to go on a big date with Bob, her
Right.
husband.
They're going on a date to a party at his work.
and she's getting all dolled up.
She's so
Right.
excited about it too
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she mentions about how they haven't gone out in a long time, and she's calling it up, and he's
he's
like,
like,
"Oh,
it's
it's no big
yeah.
deal. It's not even gonna be that fun." And
which is just
You shouldn't even
shitty,
go.
Right.
Yeah. Like his wife just wants to have a good time with him. Like you should
I
still
know.
go do that.
And
you
she
know?
gets her hair all curled, and she gets
Yeah.
her makeup done, and she gets her mole buffed,
Yeah.
and she is ready to go. And so we get introduced to her first, so she's getting this kind of like this whole beauty regimen going on, and then she calls Bob on the phone, and he's at the accounting office, and like.
But first, we're introduced to Mary Fisher on TV. She's on
Right.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous or something, or some
Yes,
spoof of that show.
Right, Lifestyles. They didn't say that that's what it was, but I
Yeah.
think that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Mary Fisher, played by Meryl Streep, who's a rich romance novelist, and we see her big fancy house. Her accent, you guys.
It's just like so.
Can we talk about the accent?
You know, it actually just reminded me so much of her role in Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where I can get, I see it, you know, and like a lot of her mannerisms and her soft-spokenness. And
Yeah.
it all came from that. And I was like,
It's like a faux English, like not quite English, but a little English, where she's like,
Yeah.
you know, like I want men to know that men are men and there's no confusion.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
line.
Well, I think I wrote it down. Let's see.
I didn't catch it until the second time I watched it. And I'm kind of mad at myself for that. But anyways,
She said, "I like to make I like to make my man feel comfortable and important, so that he knows that he's the man and there's no confusion."
I didn't even hear that. I watched it twice. Never even heard it.
Ridiculous.
Oh man.
So Mary Fisher, she's beautiful, she's rich, she's 34. They mentioned that, right?
Her
She's
mom
34.
lives in the Golden Twilight rest home. They even say that on the show.
Which just seems weird to me that you'd like give out your mom's address like that on the show. Like,
That does seem weird.
come
That
visit
seem-
my mom at the Golden Twilight Rest Home, room number 412.
Seems
She's
like
senile and will hang with you.
it seems like a prime kidnapping scenario.
yeah, right?
maybe she wanted that. Someone
Baby.
come kill my
That's
mom.
true. It
Maybe.
did kind of seem that way.
Well,
later
her
in the
mom is
film.
disgusting. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Listen, she was hilarious.
Yeah, I loved her
Hilarious.
mom.
Her
Your mom was
cackle
great.
laugh. Perfect.
I feel like it was like, I don't remember the actress's name, but I was like, is that Phyllis Diller? It was like somebody trying to do Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
I felt like.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, we see Ruth at the mall, and she's calling Bob on the payphone, which those don't
Robert
exist anymore.
Paget.
That was a payphone inside the mall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's ancient. So she calls Bob, and she's being so nice to him, and she's so excited, and like
He's such a dick.
he's such a dick. He's not fully like he's not full on dick yet, but
Well,
there's like tinges of it.
One of his line is, "I'm trying to break a new girl in."
Right. I'm trying to break
Which
in a
is
new girl.
like-
Yeah. Because his secretary quit. He's got a new secretary. And like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think second to another character that we'll get to later, and I'll surprise you guys with my thoughts then. But I think honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think Ed Begley Jr. gives the best performance in this movie.
I think Meryl Streep does.
We can talk about that. Ed Begley Jr. is working his ass off, and like he's the only person who's like awful, but in a normal way.
Yeah, but that's what I didn't like
It's
about it.
like
He didn't fit in.
Well, I think, but that's the problem, is that I think Roseanne is both. Like sometimes she's
Yeah.
too much. You can tell at times the director was telling her to scream really loud here, but other
Yeah.
times she's very understated. Meryl Streep is just like 200%
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
but she's the only person like that. The kids
Yeah.
aren't like that. Hooper's not like that.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep is like out of control.
Because her character is supposed to be absurd.
Yeah, I think her character's supposed to be
True.
absurd.
But I'll tell you why I like Ed Begley Jr. because he is like a horrific nightmare of a person, but wrapped up in this weird normalcy, which I think is kind of what the movie is about how like the American house domestic dream is a disgusting nightmare. And I feel like he really embodies that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
see that.
I honestly didn't buy him as this character because I don't associate him, like the actor, with a scoundrel. So I didn't honestly like believe that he could play this role.
And I felt that when we were watching it the first time, but watching it the second time, I really was like, but you know what? Like, disgusting scoundrels are regular guys like this. Like, that's who they are. Like, the regular husband who seems like a nice guy, but then when you burn dinner, he yells at you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, that is so... I feel like that is a moment of truth in this otherwise really absurd movie that doesn't really know what its tone is some of the time.
Yes, I would agree. It doesn't know his tone.
I can kind of piggyback off of what Sarah's saying about the believability. I had a hard time understanding his motives a lot, and maybe that's just the actor part of me. I don't know.
okay.
But it's not that because I didn't like him, because obviously that's kind of the point here with his character, and I'm not trying to judge it based on how I think about the character, but
Yeah.
more so, you know, why is he mad at her? Why does he want this? Why is he getting upset about this? And I didn't feel like he was well-rounded enough. I felt like it was too much of a black and white scenario for his character, and I didn't. But like for Mary Fisher, for example, even though a lot of the horrible things that she does or decides on, I kind of see where her motive is there. And that was based on a lot of the behavior. Yeah. And with Bob, I just felt like, I mean, could you really, as a person, like make these decisions and just think like, oh, that's okay? I think there's a little bit more to that with the average person. And I think that messed with my believability, which kind of made
it could have been whoever wrote the script could have not given him
I definitely
correct.
think that's
such a 2D character.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's definitely the most two-dimensional. I would say his motivation is his dick most of the time.
Yeah,
I think that's
pretty
the
much.
prime motivation is him feeling satisfied in whatever thing that means in that scene, whether it's like looking good in front of his parents or, you know.
It's interesting because this movie was written by 2 men, right?
It's based on a book by a woman, though, which we'll get into later.
Okay.
But yeah, the screenwriters were men. Anyway, so I think the reason I wanted to bring that up is because this moment where Bob's on the phone with his wife and he sounds pretty normal. Like he sounds like a normal guy. He's like, you're not going to enjoy this thing. It's not any fun. It's business stuff. I'm really overwhelmed. And he seems like normal, but there's like a moment where the secretary leans in over him and he doesn't full on like goggle at her boobs like he does later in the film.
He still kind of does.
But he glances at them in a subtle way where you know that there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
And that's why I that's one of the those kind of choices that he makes. I really like a lot.
Fair.
But you're right. He is working with a very poorly written character, I think. Okay. So let's get to the party. The big party. It's does anybody know what the fuck this party is for? I mean, Bob's there for some reason.
A networking event for his company and other companies and
And Mary Fisher is there for some reason.
yes, I don't know. It must be a huge.
I think he does like accounting for like higher like fancy people or something, right? And like maybe she's there looking for a new accountant. I don't know.
Because I mean, he suggests how he's trying to venture into arts management.
Yeah.
So maybe
I thought that was like a line. I thought
I
that was
think
like
so,
him
too.
trying to like. Do you think he actually was getting
I
into
don't
arts?
know.
or
Maybe
do you think
he
that
was. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really. Anyway, they're there for some reason, and Ruth is there, and I feel like she looks as nice as they will allow her to look in this movie.
Yeah.
It's until the end where she's kind of cleaned herself up and she's got Sally Field's hairdo from Steel Magnolias. So she's kind of in awe of the whole thing, and in the word, like, okay. The directing in this film too is just like, I mean, the blocking in the scene where she like takes her shoe off right practically on top of Meryl Streep's dress.
You don't notice that?
What? Like there are like a million other ways you could have staged that shot that would have made it believable. Like she could have, bumped into some, I don't know. It just was like, what the fuck? Anyway, so she's standing next to Meryl Streep. She takes off her shoe. She bumps into her and spills wine all over Mary Fisher's dress.
Yeah.
And this is how they all kind of congregate into this single moment where, Bob rushes in and he's trying to help Mary wipe her dress off, and Mary's being a real like brat about it. She's
And
like,
at this
there's
point,
nothing
Ruth-
apologetic
but
in
Ruth-
her at all.
I know.
Ruth recognizes her and goes, "Oh my God, you're Mary Fisher. I've read all your books." And she's really like, "Oh, let me help you." And Mary's just
still,
like,
such a bitch about it.
Yeah. She's like, get off me. Don't touch me.
yeah. And then Bob comes in and Ruth leaves to go, I don't know, get
Get
something.
club soda. He's like, Ruth, go get some club soda.
And then like he says, "Oh, I'm sorry about my wife" or something. And Mary goes, "That's your wife? That's too bad."
Right.
Like,
And then
it's
he
like,
says, it is.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but he kind of says it in a way where he looks at the dress to make it seem like he's talking about the situation, but of course the subtext is so heavy in that way. So I will give him that.
Yeah, another good moment, I think. I'm just saying, I'm going to have you guys turned on Ed Begley Jr. by the end of this. Because he goes, it is. That stain's going to set. So yeah, he gives it a very double meaning there.
I like the way Mary pronounces galant.
Gallant.
Galant.
Oh, boy.
And then they walk around the room arm in arm.
Yeah.
I wrote down that they, well, first of all, can we talk about this close-up?
The
their
eye
eyes.
shot?
Oh my God.
Okay, right.
Anybody?
What the fuck was that?
What is that creepy stare?
Well,
Is
it's
that not an 80s thing?
no. It's
Too much.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of 80s films. This is not
Yeah.
an 80s thing. This
I-
is like a bad filmmaker thing.
Yeah, and I hate to say that because this is we do have another female filmmaker slated for another film that we're doing this year, but this is the first one of the year that has been directed by a woman, and I am the directing in this, the shots, the blocking, all of it, the tone is painful to watch. I feel like it's lit like a student film. Like it's very, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing subtle about it. Like light comes out of places where it shouldn't be. Like, I don't know.
Or like when she's really upset and he's yelling at her and it's just dark all of a sudden and then she's just this
With this
pale
blue light.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, anyway. So, Bob and Ruth has gone off to go get some club soda for Mary's dress. Bob and Mary are walking around. I wrote down that Bob and Mary take a walk and word fuck each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
So there's a lot of like insinuation.
A stimulated accountant sounds very interesting.
He's trying to get her to, let him take on her account, her very large, voluptuous accounts. She didn't say that. I'm just adding that.
I'm like,
But if I had written this movie,
Contribution.
yeah.
God.
Okay. After the party, I'm gonna move us.
Well, he
no, we
drops
don't
his
have to
wife off
He
a
does.
block away from their house.
What the fuck is that?
And then he drives Meryl Streep home like an hour and a half or some shit. I don't know,
It's
but
too
it made me
much.
so mad. It made
Yeah.
me so mad.
well,
Well,
that's
this
the
is what he
point, but it's
said.
also
He
like
said-
too much.
He said, "There's no sense in making a U-turn, is there?" About not
A U-turn? You mean like going through the fucking cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like, what are you talking about? So he very rudely drops his wife off, like, and makes her walk up the
At
street.
the end of the neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah.
And then drive over 70 miles to drop this woman off.
Well,
at her
we all
house.
know what's about to happen. Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
like there's no question that he's gone there.
They're about to go fuck.
They're gonna bone down.
Bone
That's
down
the,
hard.
that is the whole point.
Whatever. He comes home after night, out with her.
Right. So he comes home. We meet the
I
kids
really- yeah.
briefly.
And I really hope
Nicolette
that Ruth
and
kills
Andrew.
her husband.
Andrew, I had no idea what his name was. He begins an affair with Mary, and
He did not denies it when she confronts him about it.
And this to me was like battered woman syndrome, like 101. It's like very gaslighting. Like he's
Like, I
keeps
still
telling
love
her that she's
him,
crazy and all this stuff.
And I hate the mistress, but I still love him.
yeah,
yeah, she's in denial. She's basically like, he doesn't love you, and I'm gonna get him back.
exactly. I think that motive changes later, but yes.
Certainly, yes.
And then there's a little place where we see that he gets a ring from Mary that will come into play later.
that has his initials on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I go to this tea.
But we do get that nice. We do get a nice, one of my the few moments where I think the film makes a good choice, which is a cut from the blowjob directly to. It's not subtle. Ruth chopping a zucchini with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I thought that was a good cut.
yeah.
That
I thought that was a good cut.
She was not being very attentive to that zucchini, and I was worried for her fingers.
Okay, so let's talk real quickly about dinner. So Bob comes home.
So okay, there's
Smelling like rich
one
pussy.
thing that
Yeah. 'Cause he didn't even shower.
I
Nicolette
know.
asks him, "Are you staying here tonight, Daddy?" As if he's spent multiple nights away.
Oh yeah, no, we get the sense that he's been gone for
It
a
really,
while.
I think it was the most disrespectful thing to me was that he didn't shower before he came home. He
Ugh,
like walks in the
so
door,
gross.
kisses
Fucking
his
gross.
daughter,
So gross.
Yeah.
and then was like, "I'm gonna go have a shower and get all this pussy juice off my face."
Oh.
And it's just like, oh, like you touched your daughter.
Gross.
Yeah.
So
Gross.
gross.
Take a shower.
The kids, man, they're gonna be drug addicts. I
Yes.
swear to God, they need so much fucking therapy.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason that he's home is because his parents are coming over for dinner, and he is just being awful to Ruth as she's
Terrible.
cooking. She's crying. She knows he's been gone.
Yeah,
Having
some
this-
other girl.
Yeah, and she's upset. She's crying as she's preparing the cheese puffs, and he's like, "Ah, crackers! All you've got is crackers and cheese."
What? That is a delicious start to a meal.
I mean, right?
What? Like,
I
I don't think I've ever had a meal that didn't start with cheese and crackers.
What a life you live.
feel like
I don't live a luxurious life.
I feel like this whole situation with her domestic life is meant to really make being a wife look like a fucking nightmare. Like
Yeah.
the house
Yeah.
even looks like kind of like a fun house. Like
Yes.
everything is stripy and fun
Yellow.
house colors, and it's
Yeah.
very clashy. It's like, again, too much. I feel
Yeah.
like the art direction is even too much. It's like
Yeah.
everything is
Which
so
confused me,
extreme.
because they're in a kind of nice neighborhood. Like
Yeah.
he makes
Yeah.
a decent amount of money, and
For sure.
And to see that interior really confused me.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that this is a common theme in a lot of the movies we've watched, which is that the American dream of this, all the houses on the cul-de-sac that look the same with the manicured lawns and the woman staying home and taking care of the kids is like this, like actually bad system that doesn't work
Yeah.
for anyone. And I feel like that's a common theme, and this movie is really like pushing that to a grotesque
Yeah.
edge, I think.
Fair. Yeah.
Not skillfully, but that's what
No,
it's
not
trying to
skillfully.
do.
Yeah.
That's definitely what it's trying to do. Okay, so the grandparents are there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate his mom. She seems
No,
okay.
yeah.
She
She's
doesn't
okay.
seem terrible.
His dad is a fucking douche.
To me, it seems like,
Is
you know,
he?
he grew up in a house where his dad was maybe sort of abusive to his mom,
Yeah.
and he emulates that in his
Yep.
life. And I feel like that's.
I don't
sort
remember
of
the
a-
dad at all. I
well,
was
the dad
focused
is
on,
like clumsy as an ox when she like falls
Yeah.
with.
Oh, that was the dad?
Yeah.
Oh my
the dad
God,
said that,
okay.
yeah. And mom's like, "Oh, it's okay. Are you hurt, dear?" Like the
Because
mom
she's the
seems
first
nice.
one that
Yeah.
goes to her
Yeah.
when she
Right.
falls.
And like, I mean, even Ed Begley Jr.'s character, he like catches the cheese plate and then is like, "Fuck you, bitch, stay on the floor."
Yeah.
But the mom
leaves her
also
there.
says, "Is it that time of the month, dear?"
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's something
Which
we
we've
a
heard
lot in these
multiple
movies,
times
yeah.
in these movies.
But then she also tries to defend her about the whole books thing and saying
Yeah.
how women are the only part of the,
Right, they
marriage
bring
that
up
try
the
to bring
romance novel
Yeah.
thing and Mary, and she's right. The mother is defending Ruth that she reads the romance novels because she's trying to please her man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same reason.
And then
we
she
read
gives like a
Cosmo.
dirty look over to her husband, like,
Yeah.
This was
I love it when she gives him
this
the
was
stink
the
eye.
scene,
I feel like those are my favorite Roseanne moments in this movie is when she's giving him the stink eye.
and this is the scene when she's like is acting like a servant, like she takes all the plates and she doesn't say anything, and no one like addresses her, and it just
Yeah.
fills me with like just like this
But that
bad feeling, like, oh my gosh, why are you like waiting on your family?
and this is what really bothered me with the way that his character was written. With Bob's character, it's like, I understand why you're frustrated. You're in a place that you don't want to be anymore, and you've found your quote unquote love of your life now, and you're trying to impress your parents. All these high stakes here, but then why do you have to take it to your wife and all these small things to get mad at her about?
Yeah.
I actually find that pretty I'm sure that he's been talking to her like this for a long time.
Oh, so he gets used to that.
I think that he probably has treated her like this for a long time. I think that
More of the
people
maid of the
are
family.
comfortable with the people that know them and love them the most, and they are comfortable treating them like shit because they know they're not going to go anywhere. They're
totally
comfortable
see
taking out
that.
their frustrations on them. And in fact, women waiting on their families is something that women have done for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Just like seeing it like that was just really upsetting to me.
I mean, I've been at at someone's family's house, and they're still. I mostly I think women in older generations that do that. I think many women in my mother's generation kind of
Yeah. I mean,
don't do
my
that.
mom
They're
for
like, go
sure.
get your own plate, maybe they'll set the table and then the husband will do the dishes. I've seen that a lot
Yeah.
more likely in my my mother's generation, but the generation before that, it was quite common. And I still see women in that age range and my grandmother's age range that will clean plates, and some in my mother's age range, depending on what they're.
Yeah.
Take care of the house when the house is being given to you, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that's her job as housewife, is to be the fucking servant and
Yeah.
clean the dishes and make the food and clean everybody and keep the house and take care of the kids, and that's her job. And so, but they definitely make it look like servitude for sure.
Yeah.
And nobody even says thank you or acknowledges her.
Right.
Can't get the kids to take up the
that was the
plates.
thing that was the most, yeah.
Like, most
he
time
starts
kids
to
don't thank you
yell
for that shit.
He starts to yell at her when the dead mouse is in the casserole.
Yeah, she cooks the gerbil.
She says, "I'll get the
the
strainer."
gerbil.
I know.
And he's like, it's a dead shrimp.
I love how the little girl's like, I'm gonna barf. I'm gonna barf.
Oh, and then it like splashes on the boy's face.
I know.
And he has no reaction. He's just like, that's it.
Yeah. His poor dead gerbil.
Well,
inside that thing.
Bob starts yelling at her.
Yeah.
Like openly yelling at her. I think that the way he talks to her in this scene is probably the way he talks to her behind closed doors.
Yeah. And then Ruth tells his parents that he has a new mistress, that the author of these books is his mistress, and Bob then flips out. Mom tells him to stop being so mean to her, and he says, I never should have married her. And then like
It was like 15 years too late for that regret.
yeah,
sir.
she was pregnant. You made me.
Yeah, you made me. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I was like, seriously?
Yeah. Well, that happened a lot in that time
know.
period.
And
That
then
is
the mom
realistic.
then says, well, marriage is hard. And then that's when I kind of changed my opinion on the mom, because I was kind of rooting for her. I was like, okay, maybe
That sounds like somebody in her situation would say.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Ruth breaks the dish, and that sort of sets off all this yelling, and the parents leave, and they say they're going to go eat
we
somewhere
see
else.
her in the kitchen, and she's like lit from below or something really like creepy dark.
They light her from below a lot to
Yeah.
make her
Yeah.
look monstrous.
Yeah.
But yes, it was very extreme, the lighting. And she's like seething.
That was the word that I wrote down.
So then we get to what I wrote down as the assets and liabilities scene,
Yes.
where we've got some real subtle lighting happening
From the
here.
accountant, assets and liabilities.
It's all dark in the room except for this blue light that's on. And I felt bad for her. Because
yeah.
she's crying
She
silently.
like Roseanne
Yeah.
looked like
she was
gave a
selling the shit
truthful
out of that.
performance. Yeah.
I feel like
That there was no ounce of comedy in her performance in this scene.
no, she was great. So this is where we get the four main points, the things that the pillars she's going to use to take him down. He basically says he has 4 assets that he considers to be his assets in life, and those are: number 1, his home; number 2,
Family.
his family; number 3,
Job.
Career.
his career; number 4,
freedom.
which is a weird fucking thing to say, but okay.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, I'm leaving you. I'm going to go stay at Mary's. You're a terrible mother. You're a terrible cook. You're worthless. You're a she-devil.
Yeah.
She-devil. That's the name of this movie, you guys.
But also, like, why does she have to be a she-devil? Why can't she just be the devil? Like,
Everyone
why?
knows that the devil is a man, Sarah.
Okay. I just hate. I know this was still
Well,
in the
that-
80s, but I hate when they add like woman thing or she thing. Like,
Can we make a movie called Woman Thing?
woman thing?
Woman Thing, starring I don't know. Then it sort of culminates with him driving off into the night and some very bad VFX of some lightning in the sky, and then a very Coen Brothers-esque shot,
Crane
just
in.
crane into Roseanne, screaming
Like a monster.
Yeah, and I love it. She's just
I
screaming
did like that.
outside. Just,
I did
it's
like that.
wonderful.
This was like, I think my least favorite part, because I was like, they're trying to make her look like the bad guy. Like, the scream makes her look like a
Oh, I don't think
monster.
you
feel like
in
that.
any way see her as the bad guy in this.
You can, but I'll get there.
Okay. Well, I don't at this point.
At this moment, no. I was 100% with her at this
Yeah.
moment. And that crane shot to me was more like just like a culmination of all the abuse she'd probably suffered in this marriage and the dissatisfaction in general with her life, just kind of culminating in this like primal scream into the night. That's how I kind of saw that. And in fact, if I were shooting this, I would have started on her face and then craned out. That's what I would have
like
done.
as if it's going out of her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
I agree.
okay. Ooh, that's some strong tea.
So this is the scream. So after the scream, we go to her
Right.
house.
she
so-
starts burning it down.
Well, she gets to work on that list.
Yeah.
She gets to work on blowing up that fucking house.
Throws appliances in the washing machine, turns on the hairdryer and covers it with a pillow, smokes his cigarettes and puts them in a trash can.
She's like jamming plugs into the outlet.
Yeah, which like also she's just doing a whole lot, and I'm kind of worried for her being in the house while all
Right.
this is happening.
Yes.
Well, I knew she wasn't going to blow up in the house. That would
She
have been a really
puts-
short
Would
movie.
have been a really
She
short
puts
movie.
aerosol cans in the microwave, sets it to 60 seconds.
Yeah, she really didn't think this through, I think, but somehow it works out for her. And Sarah and I were most concerned about the dog. We talked. We could not figure
We
out
couldn't
if
tell if she let the dog out or if she put the dog in a room and
In
then
a
like
laundry room.
covered the bottom of the door to like suffocate it. I don't know. Like
we were like, is that dog alive or what? Like, what is happening with that fucking dog?
Well, she lets the dog out just before her, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, but we couldn't tell what the door was because it wasn't
Yeah.
the front door.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they didn't have a
Well,
shot
she's
of the
covering.
dog running away from
Oh,
the
I guess I
house.
just assumed it was the outside.
Yeah, no, we were like,
We
maybe
did not
put him in the
assume. We were like,
laundry
she's
room.
gonna kill that dog.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
I mean, the
just
dog
couldn't
wasn't
believe
on
she
the
was gonna
list,
do anything
but
to
she
the
might
dog.
be an overachiever.
I mean, she abandoned her kids, Hillary.
Yeah, well, we
I
haven't
would-
gotten
we
there
haven't
yet.
gotten there
We haven't
yet.
gotten there yet. Okay, so
She
yeah,
didn't abandon them. She left them with their father.
we'll talk about that. So she sets all this stuff up. As she's walking away from the house blows up.
Which, by the
is
way, there's a
awesome.
continuity issue here. I don't know if y'all noticed. She doesn't wear the same dress. BT dubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're
No.
right.
Oh, no.
Well,
I
that's
freaking rewound that shit, and I was like, wait a second. Nope.
She like
Not
had
the same.
time to change a dress before she left her
So
burning house.
it's the special effects scene where the house is blowing up. So
Yeah.
the dress she's wearing, because it's supposed to have like blue leaves or whatever,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be
it's flowers,
flowers.
yeah.
And then it's just the brown and red one. And then when the kids come back home, she's in the same original
Same, I
dress.
know.
And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
Ooh,
I was
didn't
so
notice that.
distracted by the terrible VFX shot
Oh my
that
God,
I didn't
yes.
notice
That
the
too.
dress.
Yes.
But yeah. Now that you mention it, that's a different dress. So
That
there's
looked like
a
it was
number
like
of things going wrong.
Just stock footage, like playing on a green screen behind her. Like
So as she's walking away from the house that's blowing up, she's got a very big smile on her face. So she seems like there's like a relief almost, like a sense of relief that this
Yeah.
place that's been like a prison for her, I feel like, is gone.
the neighbors gather around to watch. There's some that have set up like lawn chairs and are just like
Yeah, it's like an
taking
event
a
for them.
look. Yeah.
The kids roll up. They're like, "What happened to our house?" She gets them into a car, and she,
everyone
was
has
an
their
accident.
big ass cameras that the
I mean, she
village
should
only have.
legit be in jail. Like
Yeah.
this is the
How
most
did she get
obvious.
away with this?
There's a
an
lot of things she
accident.
gets away with.
But there was like, I mean, people who investigate fire like causes, like they were sophisticated enough back then to see everything that she did to cause
Yeah,
that
no,
fire.
she fully should be in jail. But you know what? We'll let it go because there's actually a lot of things she should be in jail for
Yeah.
that don't come to fruition in this film. So
She crosses out home.
right. She crosses out home while the kids are in the car.
yeah. And she like also, she has a list of all the shit she's going to do.
Yeah.
Which just like crime 101. Don't
Right?
write down your plans.
Right.
So the kids are like, where are my tapes? Where are my
She's
clothes?
like,
Where are my
"Everything's
toys?
gone."
It's all gone. And then she drives right up to Mary's and drops the kids off.
Well, this
at
is
their
the
place.
scene that Michelle was talking about
Yeah.
that she saw in the Meryl Streep
Right.
montage where the kids and Ruth like, okay, first Garcia lets them in the house because he's like, oh, so this guy has a wife and kids. Oh, she's gonna like he wants to. I feel like in that moment he wants to get back at her.
Oh, yeah, I
for
saw
sure,
that.
for sure. I think that she already. I don't think he's. I think she already knew about the wife and kids, but I think that the kids now being at the house is really the thing that's gonna
Yeah.
throw a wrench in her life.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so this is okay. So she wants to bring Mrs. Fisher, Ruth's mom, Mary's mom, to her.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I guess it's kind of like the same thing, like bringing the kids to the husband, like bringing
how
the
I felt
mom
it was
to
like-
her to like ruin.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah. So
like
she-
ruin this blissful romantic setting you've set up
yeah,
for yourself
let me
by
use
bringing
these
in
kids as a trap, and
children
a plot,
and
a
an old
complete-
lady.
We'll use these kids as a tool to torture my husband.
And
And the mom.
and the mom.
and
Yeah.
the mom.
The mom I'm fine with because the mom again is this cartoonish
Right.
Phyllis Diller,
And the mom deserves to live in that house.
She does, and the mom is fine and a fucking adult and has a
Yeah.
better living at that
Yeah.
Yeah,
house.
I actually love the mom's like sense of humor and like.
Oh,
She's a little
hilarious.
much, but
I
Her
mean,
cackle just buys me.
I love. I mean, she is over the top, but I love that she laughs about everything. Like she doesn't take anything too seriously.
well, we didn't really cover this yet, but I mean, we talked about how Mary's mom is in the nursing home.
So Ruth goes to work there.
Ruth goes to work there under a different name, Rose.
Yeah.
Vesta Rose.
Vesta
Rose.
Rose.
Vesta.
Rose.
Vesta Rose.
Vesta
Vesta
Rose.
Rose,
Okay.
yeah.
So she goes to work as Vesta Rose at this nursing home. She's got a real
donut
banging,
moment.
tight hairdo she's got there.
Yeah.
And the weird
She
black thick frame glasses.
She has this white kind of foundation too that they put on
Yeah.
her too. Yeah.
She's
she
let the
meets
mustache
Hooper.
grow out.
She meets Hooper, who's
Which I think-
awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
first
Hooper is
she
great.
meets Mrs. Trumper.
Oh,
That's her name.
Oh, that's fitting.
well.
Wow.
So
They don't allow any patients to wet the bed, and if there is any
Right.
bedwetting, they have to be kicked out.
And
that's
they
the
will
difficult
fire
part.
the person who
that seems like it
doesn't
should be a
clean
common
up.
thing that
Right.
happens in a nursing
Common.
home.
Like, come on.
I feel like this was written as like come on, like of course this isn't gonna happen, but like let's make fun of.
Again, it's a flaw. It's a huge flaw in this. I mean, it's like saying we're a daycare, but if any babies wet their diaper, we have to kick them out.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's also supposed to be like a device, you know?
Well, yeah.
Well, not what is it?
They
that
use
I'm
it as a
looking
device,
for?
for
yeah,
sure.
it's device.
What am I looking
They
for?
just
though?
compromise the believability of all of it.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's also. I think it's supposed to be this fancy thing, you know, like this fancy place that costs a lot of
doesn't
money.
look
I thought it was
fancy.
I don't think it looks it, but I think that's the vibe that we're supposed to get from it. Is that she's paying a lot of money for her mom to be there, and
Yeah.
because it costs so much, there are these.
They should
silly
have made
little
it look
arbitrary
fancy, but
rules.
they can't make it look too fancier. Then
Right.
it doesn't look nice.
And
there.
it's crazy because even Miss Trumper, she admits in the beginning that, you know, Rose at this point, who she calls herself, asks, you know, why are they on sedatives and stuff like that? And then she explains about how, well, I mean, would you want to live a life like that knowing that your family abandoned you
Yeah.
and blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
So she knows that she's taking care of these elderly women or elderly people because they're just kind of being thrown away
Yeah.
by their family members.
True.
Yeah.
And the first thing she does is get in there and switch the drugs, and with some kind of speed,
Yeah, with
Yep.
some sort of.
which should have
And
given
crack
those old
cocaine.
people a heart
Something?
attack.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the next day, all the old people are out playing soccer,
I
dancing
love.
to a
That was a good
version
scene.
of "I Will Survive."
Yeah,
Which
that's
Sarah
great.
did not like that cover.
Yeah,
She did not
no,
like it. She didn't care for
Not
it. Nope.
a fan. Then Hooper. This is when Hooper gets involved. She threatens to tell on Rose, and then Rose says, "Women like us should stick together." And I was like, "Wait, women like who? Like ugly women? Like, are we supposed to
because
believe
she
like?"
judges her
Yeah.
the minute she starts
Yeah.
working?
Yep.
Because I guess maybe the mole thing catches her attention, but like
I mean, wouldn't
she
it
judges
catch your attention?
But that just feels offensive to herself, to that woman, to women in general.
I
and,
thought
like,
she
women
meant
like
women who
us.
get thrown away. That's what I thought she meant.
Okay.
Women
Oh,
who
that's
are
fair.
just thrown away women, which is how she refers to Hooper later. Is like,
Yeah.
But
but
if
Hooper
you
was thrown away.
Think about it. Why are they thrown away? If they both look like Meryl Streep, they would not be working there.
Oh yeah, that is the position of this movie.
Yeah.
And that is the position of the story that we're in, for sure. But I think to her, rather than her looking at Hooper and go, "Oh, Hooper, not a looker," I think it's more like, she's like me.
Yeah.
The world has underestimated us.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. Mom's now living at Mary's house. Ruth has been kicked out of the nursing home. She's leaving. All the old people seem pretty upset about it.
they line up for her.
Yeah.
Like an ever after
Yeah.
when the dad leaves and then he dies. Anyway,
In the scene where they have dinner outside with Mrs. Fisher, we find out that Mary is actually 41, not 34. which
Yes.
she told.
So what Mary's mother's arrival, which of course she now has been kicked out of the nursing home, so she's going to have to live there.
No.
We find out some things, and she also tells there's a People reporter
Right.
there interviewing her, and she tells
And I would
her
just
some things.
like to quickly say, like, I didn't write down much about the conversation other than I thought the mother was hilarious, spilling all her dirty secrets. But the photographer that she brings with them, the photographer does not take pictures of Mary. Instead, he is taking pictures of the young 11 and 12-year-old girl in her bathing suit.
Ew,
and
I
is
missed that.
asking
he's
her
trying to model
pose.
in the background. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ew,
and
ew,
so it's like,
ew, I
and
didn't
it
see
was a
that.
long shot of it, and
This
like
is
this
the
is
scene where the mom's dishing out all
God.
those secrets.
Yeah, the
And
mom
it's
is like
so
dishing all the
weird.
secrets, and then in the background you see this like 11-year-old girl in a bathing suit posing for a photographer very sexily,
Oh, barf.
and it was
Did you catch that? I didn't
super
see that. I
gross.
didn't.
It
Yeah.
was so
this
gross.
Is before
Oh,
she like hops onto the
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to
We'll-
that. So, okay, so apparently there were multiple instances of over sexualizing this teen.
Well, they mentioned that
which
when
upset
she's
me.
on the call line or whatever it is.
That she was like on a chat line on one of those old like live wire chat lines or whatever the hell they
I
were
remember
called.
those, the 1-900 numbers.
I mean,
Yes.
it's the point of
That you used to see
Nicola's
commercials for, like,
character to be like an
midnight.
underage like jailbait type thing. Like, is that her character?
I don't think they know because they go back and forth because we see her looking like a little girl again later.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
like we can see that whatever's happening in her home life is not is leading her down a dark path.
Yeah, I don't understand why these things are included. Like, I don't understand why we need to see. I don't know.
I agree with you. I mean, it's just fucking. I think maybe these. I don't know, because the director would have chosen to block that out like that.
And
it
I mean,
probably,
it was
might not
it was
been
fairly
in the script.
obvious blocking. Like, and I completely ignored what was going on with the people interviewer and the mom and everything because of what was going on in the background, because it grossed me out so much.
So Hooper and Ruth open up the Vesta Rose Employment Agency. They buy a shitty old warehouse, which fucking I'll take that.
And then we have the
need a
longest
space for
painting
Critical Crop Top.
montage ever.
Oh yeah, well,
Just
as sped up
longest.
in a very
Yeah.
like silent movie kind of way.
I find it really interesting too how the realtor, when she's trying to sell the place to them, says, it just needs a little women's touch.
Yeah, it needs a feminine touch or whatever.
I was
yeah.
like,
It
excuse me?
It needs a
some
flamethrower.
hauling action. Like,
It needs a flamethrower is what it really needs. It's just like
Oh,
burn it down,
I
start
would
over.
100% take that place if it was a good deal.
Yes, I would
Just so
too.
we had a fucking place to perform this sketch show.
Yeah, that'd be so nice.
Jesus Christ.
also in the next scene, they get up in time on the building in Times Square and release all these flyers. And I was
I
like,
love that scene.
I was like, what if we didn't have social media and that was how we had to advertise?
that's how
for the
people had to
podcast?
do that shit.
But so many flyers.
Yeah.
Just like, and
So-
they were all like,
well,
yay, litter.
we're kind of
garbage
we're
from
kind
the
of
sky.
well, we're kind of dancing around this, but they buy those warehouse space,
Yeah.
they renovate it. We see them painting it, and then she says in the voiceover that they open up this employment agency for women who've been thrown away.
Right.
And this is the moment where she says women who've been thrown away, like Hooper, for the unloved and unwanted.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew just where to find them. And it's like, well, I mean, Times Square is very populated, so I mean, I guess that's a good place to start. So they stand on top of this building and they toss flyers out. And we're already seeing like her transformation, where she's got like different hair and the like a pantsuit, and
She's slowly having her mole removed.
yeah,
Yes.
the one scene with the Band-Aid. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
she's got makeup on. She's looking a little, looking a little snazzier. I like the concept of the employment agency. I like the idea of a woman who's been thrown away helping other women find employment.
Yeah.
And kind of bringing them up out of their situation into a better situation. I should be enjoying this more. Like, I should be enjoying her taking this on more. But again, like, I can't fully root for her. And like, I wish that I could.
was it because of the
Yeah, I
kids?
feel the
It's
same
because
way.
of the kids, especially
feel
with
the same
shit
way.
like this.
I still fully root for her. It's a movie. And they're
I
fine.
know, but
Except for that.
I-
scene
but
of
I-
the child
She's the
pornographer
she-devil.
who they brought to the house.
right.
It's excused for her because she's the she-devil.
Right, but I think that anybody who's going to watch this movie, who has kids and who feels trapped in their life, is like going to feel like no matter how much you hate staying home and cleaning up after your husband, like most people, women with children, are just going to not be on board with this situation. where you
I
just
don't
dump
have
your
kids, and I'm not
Yeah.
on board with it.
Anyway, but it's not just about giving these women a fresh start. She ends that voiceover by saying that she's amassing a personal army,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
which I also kind of like.
Yeah.
You know,
And then,
I'm
like,
into
when
that.
they're
that.
doing the shots of like the interior of the business, you see a portrait of Mother Teresa and all these other
Oprah.
Oprah and all these other
I don't know, like
strong feminine figures.
I still I feel like everything she does is to serve her revenge. And so even though she is on the face of it helping women, all the women the women that we see, that we meet, she puts them in positions that aid her revenge.
I like this scene with the mother whose husband just left her and her kids.
Right.
Not just
Yeah.
because she's Asian, but I'm just saying.
No,
You
I
know.
really liked that scene as well, where she's like talking about how she doesn't have any skills, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, be back here tomorrow. We'll have a job for
'Cause
you.
Also,
She worked
she's
all
like,
the
I
numbers.
just, I took care of my kids. I've never had a real job. And she's like, well, taking care of kids sounds like a real job to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that you're bringing up an important point, which is that even though she's helping them, she's also using them.
Yes. And I know that the world isn't black and white, but this movie seems to be simple enough that it should be black and white. And so like I find it hard to reconcile both. She can be doing revenge and be helping people. Like it's hard for me to see
I get
both
that.
sides.
Again, I would be on board with that, and I would totally 100% accept it, minus the kid thing. The kid thing is what really is. It's the thorn in my craw.
But the
I can't get past it.
Olivia thing too, which we'll get to, but like
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
but it's like she throws her under the bus. Like, let me throw you at this man who will break your heart for sure, and I won't even care that he breaks your heart, and I'll just use that as a way. I don't know.
I think you could read it that she is certainly using her, but there's something she's okay. So let's talk about Olivia. Well, we've moved on to Olivia, so let's go ahead and say it. So she's got this employment agency. She's starting to get people jobs. She's putting them in positions like court reporter here and that, and like this person. So she's getting people jobs, but also now she's starting to spread a network of people out into the world that might be able to help her later. She knows that Bob has a thing for hot secretaries. He's Bob is maybe starting to lose interest in Mary now that Mary she's got these kids. It's interesting how she drops the kids off at Mary's. The kids are now suddenly her responsibility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not his. And he finds out she's 41 from the mother and not 34. And he's starting to lose his flame is starting to cool.
Also, because her career is kind of dropping at this point, because she's she's writing this terrible book that's been overdue for 2 months or something.
Yeah,
and so that talent, that spark that he was so attracted to in the beginning, is lost.
yeah. Love in the rinse cycle. Yeah, that's the book that she's
What
writing.
the heck, guys?
It's just so bad of a title.
Yeah.
Oh, and this, I'm sorry, this is at a completely different place, but this kind of like sums up what we're talking about right now. Men who burn so hot for a mistress cool off after the mistress starts acting like a wife.
Right. Yeah. So that's part of her voiceover.
Yeah.
So Rose, I'm calling her Rose Ruth, whatever. That's her her name that she's going by. Drops a flyer off at his office, and he takes the bait. And he calls in looking for a new secretary. I don't know what happened.
I'm
to
not
the other
afraid to have very attractive secretaries.
Right.
Which is just so gross.
Like, oh,
He's
how
so
kind
gross.
of you.
like
Female, of course.
So
With boobs.
big boobs.
yeah, I
Yes,
feel like
big
that was
boobs.
just what was going through the back of his mind, just like boobs. I want boobs. Bring the boobs.
And vagina.
So she's like, I know just the right person. And she pops on this video, and it's this charming girl. I mean, she
Yeah.
seems a little bit of a space cadet in the video, but she's basically like, I'm a bookkeeper, and I'm very good with the spreadsheets.
And I want to work with a very powerful man or something
And
like
marry
that.
him. She's like,
Yeah.
men think my name's really cute because it's Olivia Honey.
And it is.
But I think the actress is actually quite charming when we get
Yeah.
to know her, the character. So she sends
This
Olivia Honey.
naive poor girl.
I know, sends her to interview at Bob's accounting firm. I really do hate this. I hate the way she uses Olivia. Like, she knows she's sending Olivia to this shitty, awful man who's
Her
just gonna
ex-
hurt
Husband.
Didn't you
Yeah.
see this coming? Come on.
Yes, but at the same time,
I mean, how
I
else
feel
was she
bad.
supposed to get back at him? You know, like
I know, but
I mean,
how
as soon
else?
as she started the employment agency, I was just like, okay, she's going to plant someone in his office, find out something that he's doing wrong, and then hand it over to the cops, and then he's going to get arrested, and
It's
that's
the
going to be the end of the
vagina
movie.
trap.
But it's
vagina
not
trap.
the plant. Like, she could have planted some
sequel,
dude.
little known sequel
he-
to the
he
Parent Trap.
wouldn't have hired
the
a dude.
vagina trap.
I know,
Or
but
teeth.
You can't just put anyone in there, you know, like he wants a woman and he's only going to hire a woman. She could have sent a man, but he wouldn't have hired the
No,
man, so it
no.
didn't matter. She had to send a
I
hot
just
young woman.
feel
I'm not saying
about
it's right, but like she had to do it.
Well,
in order
yeah.
to get what she wanted out of it.
So she sends Olivia wearing a very tight outfit, which she looks great in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's not business appropriate, but she looks fantastic.
Certainly not. But
She
she's
don't know.
working it.
She don't know.
And I hate the like she walks like sticks like her vag like in his face, and he like slowly
Well, he slowly
like,
climbs her
climbs
body.
up.
Is that not how you introduce yourself to a new boss?
It's like, hello,
Sarah,
where's my vag?
I know you're looking for a new job. So when you get that job, just go in there and
Lead
just
vag first.
stick your vag right
With
in your
gum.
boss's face. And
Not
then
in the
be like,
vag.
hey, what's up? I'm Sarah.
Would you care to shake my
Very
badge? I mean, my hand. But Bob,
There
for
is no
sure,
interview. She was
Right.
like, I'm here to interview about the bookkeeping job, and he was like, you're hired.
I know he's such a pig.
You're hired. Boobs.
I love her obvious cheetah wardrobe, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Cheetah print
Yeah.
wardrobe.
Oh, God.
It's
And
like the
everything that
gold
she
digger
wears.
closet, you know?
The Gold Digger
I would
the Gold
know
Digger collection.
as one. I would know.
Body by Gold Digger.
If you're single and have some money, you can contact me at the Feminine Mistake Podcast at gmail.com. Send a photo and your bank account statement.
Yep.
Done.
We'll accept statements from the last 3 months.
And I'll send you my fanciest picture in a cheetah print shirt.
A cheetah print captain.
Oh my God. Is there such a thing?
I saw one on Amazon.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So,
The next scene, Mary meets with
the publisher.
who hates her book.
Right. Love in
Yeah.
the Rinse Cycle.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
Because it has
admittedly
kids.
I might read.
It has kids, and the husband's name is Bob.
I can only imagine
And
there's
she
a lot
eats
of...
the gummy bear in her hair.
Okay,
by the
I
way.
loved that. I
did
loved
love
that.
that.
That made me lull, you guys. I lulled. When
Yeah.
she ate, she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And Mary's like, "Oh, it's a gummy bear," and she pulls it out of her hair and,
pops
just
it in her
eats
mouth.
Like, duh.
Yes.
And I'm like, "That's me 24/7."
I feel like I've definitely done something similar to that before, you know, like found something in my cleavage and just been like, cool popcorn, and just like eaten it just because like it's there and I'm hungry.
Why not?
Sounds delicious.
Anything that's attached to me is probably going to be disgusting, so I don't need it.
I just really, if it's chocolate, I have to wonder, is it chocolate? And that's really
Yeah.
the
Oh,
next
yeah,
time I
true.
have
Yes.
to be.
Well, I don't have
considerate.
children, so I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. I'm like, I know I didn't shit on myself, so
I don't
good.
shit on myself.
Like I'm good to go.
Other people
But you're-
shit
I
on
know
me.
that's
what
the
we're
thing.
saying.
It's
Oh,
like
okay.
you have to
You
worry
and
about it
these
because you
poop
have
problems.
poop machines.
Jeez.
Could be anybody's shit. Okay, so Mary's publisher doesn't want to publish the book. I can only imagine Love in the Rinse Cycle includes a lot of metaphors about detergent bottles bursting.
Oh God, that might be worse than love nectar.
I can only imagine.
I love how like at some point a line is it's a metaphor.
Oh
And like because like she apparently has to explain to her publisher what a metaphor is.
They're like, housewives don't want to read about men with and people with children. And I'm like, well, maybe we do. Maybe
Right.
we could.
Yeah.
If it was starring Michael Fassbender.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Am I
Here we
right?
go.
Am I right? Okay.
That is
Put
We
him
all
in
agree.
anything?
We all agree on Michael
Oh my
Fassbender.
God, that's the
amazing.
one thing we agree
Yeah,
on.
first time.
Oh my God, that's never
All right,
happened before.
okay.
Okay. So we occasionally see Ruth missing her kids. She pulls out a photo and cries about it. And I'm like, well, you did leave them there.
Yeah.
Like you could have done something
That
about
is
that.
the time when I
okay.
didn't feel bad for her because I was just like, bitch, go home and visit.
It's
What are
okay
you
because she
doing?
says that no matter what, I will love you.
Yeah.
Which makes everything okay.
Which I feel like
Right?
is the same thing that Michelle Pfeiffer says to her daughter right before she poisons somebody in White Oleander and then goes to jail for the rest of the
God, I've
movie.
never seen that.
I haven't seen it.
Fuck, that movie, guys, is
Nuts, what
insane.
you just said to me.
So it's way too sad for us to watch for this show.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, back at Mary's, her life is being destroyed basically by having all these kids that she's suddenly expected to take care for. Which I would add, she was very rosy about. She was having like all these fantasies
Yeah.
about having kids early in the movie, but when she gets them, it turns
She's
out
like,
it's
"This
not
fucking
as
sucks."
yeah. It turns out it's not as fun as she thought.
I will just say though, she did inherit someone else's teenagers.
I
which
mean,
like can't
look,
be fun.
Yeah, but teenagers can. They can poop on their own, and
That's
you don't have
true.
to cut up their food for them. So come on,
Right, but they're
get it
still
together.
monsters. Like
Well, yeah. So Mary is now like she's got hives or something. Her hair's all messed up. She's taking pills.
Too many pills.
Too many. I
kitchen
thought
is
she was
all
gonna
messed up.
fucking
Way too
kill
many.
herself.
That's what I
Jesus.
thought too.
Butler doesn't even want to fuck her anymore.
I know.
Oh my
Like, how
god, that scene when
insulting.
Garcia is
Yeah,
like
he's like-
lifting weights and he's like,
And then he like gets up in her face and like fakes her out and shuts the door in her face.
that was fine acting.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like that guy needs a lifetime achievement.
he really
award.
does.
Lifetime achievement.
A lifetime achievement award. Bob, meanwhile, is fucking the secretary at the office.
What? No.
I know, and this
On
and
the
a
coffee
shocking,
machine.
shocking plot twist. Well, we're
Yeah.
not at the coffee machine yet. We're almost there. Bob comes home, lies to Mary the same way he lied to Ruth. That a tire blew. Which apparently, if Chris ever comes home and says that his tire blew, that's the night that I make a necklace out of his testicles.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I just stayed at a motel because I thought that'd be
No,
fine.
that's her threat. That's like
I've said this
yeah.
multiple times on
Yeah.
the show.
Oh, this is my
If-
first exposure to it.
Yeah.
If my husband were to cheat on me, I will make a necklace out of his testicles.
Yeah.
Would you wear it too?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, just
Yeah,
checking.
might get him gold plated.
Oh yeah, and Chris's testicles.
Just write Chris,
Like
Chris's
engraved.
testicles engraved on it.
Oh my
and
god,
the
that's
date.
so cute.
With the
Right?
date,
Where'd you
I
get
know.
date of
that?
origination and death.
I mean,
Yeah.
big necklaces are in right now, you guys. I don't know where I was going with that.
It'd be the softest, most velvety necklace in the world.
Oh, not
Too much.
velvety.
Too much. Too much.
No.
Too much.
What they are. Ball sacks are great. They're so soft.
You can't see this at home, audience, but Hillary is cupping imaginary balls with her fingers right now.
It's like so many chains.
Now with both.
They're soft ones. They are.
All right. So Bob comes home. He lies to Mary. This is the scene that I really like her in. Like, if I feel like this is the scene that Mary should be at the level of outrageous that she is, when she's just like over the top. She's crying. She's even working in the fact that she's been on pills. Like, she's like slurring her words.
And this is
she's crushing it. I think Meryl's crushing it in
yeah,
this
the
scene.
the physical acting that she's doing, all
Totally
the
agree.
movements. But I'm like, did she come up with all this herself, or was any of
Oh,
this?
fuck yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm this
pretty
hack
sure.
director. Sorry.
I feel like
Susan
even the
Seidelman.
gummy bear scene was just her improving it.
Well, like there's a
I wouldn't
place
be
where she
surprised.
like shakes her
Yeah.
ass like at the camera. She's like,
Oh
something
yeah,
and,
because like I'm an
shakes her-
artist.
Yeah, it was
That's what she does
something
that.
like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I thought that moment was a little weird. She said, "I'm an artist," and then she presented her butt.
Yeah,
like
and like shakes it.
like a female like baboon might to another
Yes,
baboon. I was like,
yes.
"What is that all about?"
I don't know. My butt
It's
is
a
my
weird
art.
choice.
Yeah, no, there was stuff like that that felt like a.
Hillary's like, when I go to an interview for a job, an art job,
I
the first
walk
thing I
in
do
backwards.
is present my butt.
Yeah, I just walk
As
in
my
backwards and I'm like,
credentials.
hello.
This
is
set
Hillary's
right
butt.
where it needs to be.
I think the making of this movie, like all the acting choices and all the like every choice is like so intriguing because it's like, who made that choice? That awful
It's hard
choice.
to say.
I think
whose awful choice it was.
Yeah, there were a lot of choices being made in this, and none of them were discussed previously with anyone else in the cast, apparently. I think they just walked in and they were
No.
like, let's just do some stuff. Everybody
One-take
try what you
scenes.
want.
Yeah.
So she's upset because her life is falling apart. The publisher doesn't want to publish her book. Bob is walking around with some lips, just straight up lipstick.
I know,
his
on
neck.
Yeah.
him.
Yep.
Jesus, it's not even a hickey. Like, wipe
Yeah,
that
just-
shit off.
yeah.
Like, have
she
some
does
respect.
this weird thing too as she's kind of going crazy. Like she slowly strips. Have you noticed that? Like when she takes off her robe.
Oh, a little, yeah.
And then
Oh,
she
yeah.
like puts her leg up and then she stretches out
And she's
Yeah.
like rubbing her leg and like
Yeah.
kind of humping the pillow a little bit.
like she's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
trying to seduce him, but maybe she is. I was
Yeah.
kind of confused.
I was
Yeah,
like,
lots
what
of
is
movements.
happening? And she's like, I'm an artist. And she like wraps her legs around the pillow. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm so confused
Yeah.
about
scene
what
was
is
this?
happening.
This was the same
What is
scene.
happening
the same
right
scene
now?
as the
It's
butt
same
shake.
scene as the butt shake.
Right? Just,
She presents her butt and
must
then
have just
she wraps her
blacked out.
legs around a pillow. How much cheese did you eat that night,
I
Hillary?
had a lot of cheese. Like a lot. Like a lot of cheese. Still recovering.
Still recovering. My body is all out of sorts from all that
Body's still
cheese.
recovering from the cheese.
Well, then we have like a walk in the park with where Ruth and Olivia will walk around talking
yeah.
about Bobby.
Bobby.
With the hot dog. She's eating a hot dog.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's be subtle. Let's be more subtle if we can.
Y'all, how many penis-shaped foods have we had in this movie so far? There's been the
Zucchini,
zucchini,
hot
the
dog.
Boston cream.
I feel
the
like
hot
all we're
dog.
missing is a banana.
Like, that's really all we
Really,
need at
that's
this
it.
point.
We just need a
But
banana.
And an
also,
eggplant.
that hot dog looked so tasty.
God, I love hot dogs.
Just
You guys.
so tasty.
I did not
if it
even
was-
see
if it
them
was-
eating
oh
hot
my
dogs.
God.
If
Like, I
it
did
was
not pick up that.
recommended by, recommended by the Surgeon General, I would eat hot dogs for every meal.
Yeah. When I went to the High Line in New York, there were all these like food vendors right outside the entrance to it. So I stopped at the one at the very top of it and got a hot dog and started walking
Just
down.
worked your way
and
down.
then halfway down, I went
wow.
to a different vendor and I was like, I would like meat on a stick, please. And
What a
then as I
feast.
walked farther down, I bought a hot dog again at the last
Hillary.
vendor because I was just like, I don't want anyone to know how many hot dogs I
No
want right
shame.
now. But
I want to canonize you as a saint.
thank you. I will take it. Please do.
It's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
I just like I didn't want anyone to know that I was like I want 2 hot dogs and a kebab of mystery meat.
You like come back with like a wig on.
To the next vendor. I'm like, that hot dog looks interesting. I'll try that.
All right, so so Ruth and Olivia are having a little walk ski about Bobby,
Yep.
and Olivia is like, I'm in love with Bobby.
And Ruth encourages her to tell him, like, what could go wrong?
You don't think that'd be weird for him, right?
She's like, oh,
No.
it's not like that. And he's
What kind of a man would not want to be told by a woman they're sleeping with that they love him?
In my experience, that's always gone real well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't been dumped immediately afterwards.
Look.
Yeah.
if he's gonna put you up on a desk in his office in the middle of the night when everyone's gone home,
He obviously loves you.
He better put a ring on it.
Yeah.
He's gonna put a ring on it. That's like the next step.
Because he's
For
only
sure.
living with this new woman.
They're on the rock. she
Speaking of
says.
putting a ring on it, he puts his ring on her butt and photocopies it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. So Ruth, So Ruth convinces Olivia that she should be honest with Bobby about her feelings, which kind of the things she says are like truthful, but she's using them in a manipulative way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at Bob's office in the middle of the night, they're fucking on top of the copy machine, as you do,
You know, like you do.
like you do.
Wait, you don't?
That was like such. You're right.
I actually have
I
a-
have a copy machine at my house just for sex
doesn't?
purposes.
You beat me.
Did
to
I
that
steal your joke?
I was
Sorry,
you
I
beat me
stole
to
your
it.
joke.
I was like getting ready to set it up.
Yeah, Nicole
And
was
you
like,
just knocked out. You just knocked down those pins ahead of me.
I'm sorry. I stole your joke. I apologize.
Yeah. So he's like, they're like chasing each other around the office, and he's like, he's so gross. Like, again, I want to give Ed Begley Jr. a hand for like making this guy progressively more gross. Like, he might be the only one who, well, okay, Ruth has a character arc for sure. But he like progressively, like in a very graduated fashion, gets more and more gross. And he's like talking. He's like, yeah, let's get you up on the desk. Oh wait, I got an idea. And they like get in a chair and they spin over to the copier and he hoists her up on the copier and like she takes her shirt off and he's like, the photocopier starts copying.
So
and
he spreads her butt cheeks with his
spreads her
fingers.
butt cheeks so you can
photocopies it.
really see that ring on his finger that Mary
owed
gave him.
this.
Meanwhile, we're watching this and Sarah's like, that image wouldn't be that clear.
It would not. She's
Exactly
right.
what Sarah said.
It would not.
Because in reality, they'd be like, okay, wait. Okay.
Yeah,
Move.
yeah.
Wait. Hold still.
And they'd be like,
Okay.
oh, wait, it's beeping. I think it's jammed. No, try it. Wait, it's out of toner.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
last one was blurry. We got to do it again.
So, in the middle of this, she says, this isn't just a fling for me. Bobby, I love you, I do.
And his face just falls. I mean, he just like stops when
And
he's
just
doing.
like, I just lost my erection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boner killer.
Oops. And to no one's surprise, he immediately dumps her. So we cut to
Cries.
Crying.
Tears.
just tears. I can't believe he dumped me. He dumped her and he fired her.
Yeah, which is
accused
just
her of
shitty.
trying to sleep to the top.
Which,
sleep her way
to
to the
be
top.
fair, was kind of her goal. She did say it in the video.
Well, she said she wanted to marry a rich, successful man.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Well, sleeping your way to the top is like your career.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she obviously didn't want to work. She just wanted to marry the boss. I don't know. To me, it's sort of synonymous.
But
Like,
nonetheless,
she wanted to start in the position.
there's got to be rules against that, right? Like firing your secretary for...
Yeah, well, there's just rules against fucking your secretary,
guess
and then
that's-
there's definitely rules
Yeah.
against firing your secretary because you fucked your
I mean,
secretary.
that's
There's
somewhere in
definitely
HR,
a law
that's
against
got to be
that.
an HR mess right there.
Yeah, that's an HR mess.
So she's crying and telling Ruth all about it. And then in the middle of this, where she's like, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe I trusted him. And, Ruth is like, like, I'm so sorry. Like, you'd think he would be a nice, honest businessman. And she's like, oh, no, he's been embezzling money from his clients. And here's the pay dirt
Yeah.
Yeah.
that Ruth has been looking for.
Yeah.
What a
And
slime
one of the
Right.
lines Olivia has is, "Men get away with murder. If you're a woman, there's no justice in the world."
To which Rose says, justice serves those who serve themselves.
And then they get all clandestine in their black cat suits and
And
break into the office.
Their black cat suits, no gloves,
No, why would you
brightly
need
covered
gloves?
colored headscarves.
Yeah.
Sunglasses. They look like they're
In the middle of
Leather
the night. They're
jacket.
super
They look like they're
inconspicuous.
off to go on a convertible car ride to
Right.
like
Yeah, to drive off a
Indeed.
cliff somewhere.
Yeah, it
like
was
Thelma and
very
Louise style.
Thelma and Louise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should do that movie on this show.
yes.
So they go to the office. Apparently, they are not experienced cat burglars.
What? I thought they did a great job.
And question, how does she still have the key if she's been fired already?
She has the code.
They
code.
break
no, but she
in.
also uses a
she
key
opens
to
the front
unlock the
door.
door.
Oh,
Guess he
she
must have.
maybe she kept it in
But
Nature's
wait,
pocket.
he must have.
That's exactly what I
He-
was thinking.
but
I was
wait.
trying to figure out how to phrase it. I was like, it was probably shoved up her
Up, up,
badge.
He must have fired.
Signed Mel.
But
Signed
he must
Mel.
have fired her in the moment, and they probably didn't go through the like professional like, give me
No.
your key and
Yeah.
do-do-do-do-do-do.
He was like, "Hang on, let me just get out of you. You're fired."
Yeah.
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 Yeah, probably.
God.
Yeah, so they break into his office and they decide that they're going to draw attention to his embezzling by embezzling.
By embezzling more.
Right.
Yeah.
It's taking from Mary's account.
$1,000.
$200,000 from Mary's account to
And I
a
love that
Swiss
she's
bank
like,
account.
2,000? And she's like, more. And she's like, 20? And she's like, more. And she's like, 200? And I was like, that escalated
200,000?
quickly.
Yeah, right? I'm
Escalated real quick.
So, again, they should for sure be in jail for this.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even wear gloves. Like,
and
their
I love
fingerprints
that,
are
and there's
all
no
over that office.
cameras in that office. Like, I find that real hard to
Well, in
believe.
the 80s, I can believe that. But certainly
Well, yeah,
somebody's going to
yes.
know that somebody's logging onto a computer.
Yeah, you can
after
see the
hours.
logins. Yeah.
So while they're there, Ruth comes across the photos from the photocopy machine, which she
Just stored in a file folder because
So
that's where
what a
you
creep.
store your
He kept
photos.
those.
Store them in Olivia's file. Like,
Yeah.
let me.
well,
Like, what?
He's got to send them to HR.
Right. Let them know the full sitch.
Yeah.
Brag a bit.
I would keep
boobs.
that in my personal like stuff like at home. I wouldn't like file that at work.
Now I'm
We can't-
picturing
you
I'm
can't do
picturing
that
a
work-
shoebox
at home, though, because then
Shoebox
Mary's
of
gonna be
Sarah's full
pissed
of
about it.
photos.
full of photocopied butts, just that says Sarah's stuff on it. Shoebox. All the photocopied butts she keeps. All right, so they do that, and she sends the photos to Mary Fisher.
Yeah. Well, and they conveniently have his ring on there. So
Right.
Mary
Well,
knows
that's a
exactly
very
whose
convenient plot
button
device.
hand it is.
So they're in her convertible. They look like they've been making out because Mary's lipstick is smeared and his neck is all smeared lipstick. And she sees it and then she jumps out of the car and runs away. And he's like, "You know, you're the only woman I've ever been faithful to."
She literally has pictures, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
also,
God.
like,
And he's
the
like,
only
"Oh, this
woman-
came out good."
That's like saying, but what he's essentially saying is every woman I've been with, I've cheated on except for you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's a garbage
Yeah, right.
person.
Thank you.
So she's having a bad day. Her book has tanked. Nobody wants to buy Love in the Rinse Cycle. She finds out that Bob is cheating on her, which she should not be surprised about. The maid quits.
Yeah, because she does not want to take care of all
German
the kids.
maid.
And
She says, "Up with this bullshit! I will not put."
is that the actress from Young Frankenstein? I feel like it
know.
looks like Fabruka. You know what I'm talking about? I think that's the same actress. So she fires Garcia. And she's like, I'm taking control of my life. So the first thing she does, Mary, of course, is throw a big old party.
Well, first Ruth calls the IRS and turns.
That's true. She
Yeah.
does. She tips
Bob in.
tips them off to Bob. And then Mary throws a big party. And she's still upset with Bob.
What was the party for, by the way? Just to
I don't know.
restart?
I think so.
I have
it
a
was
feeling
like
it was
I'm
like
still
my book is released. I'm so fabulous.
or maybe
Come to my party.
I'm still fabulous party. That's
And
Yeah.
why was
what I
Bob
thought it
even
was.
invited?
Yeah,
Because
right.
she was
Well,
like,
he's
just
living there.
You can't just be locked up in a
Well,
room.
she says
the
he's
tower.
on.
Yeah.
She says he's on probation, but I guess they're still like technically together.
I
And
guess
they're-
it's like an
for
image
show.
trying-
It's an
yeah.
image thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because also she's just written this book that's like, being a housewife is great and I love it and it's so romantic
you're
and
right.
Yeah.
this man named Bob, and I think that if she doesn't have the man named Bob and the kids and all of these other
And
things,
plus, plot device,
doesn't
he
work.
has to be arrested. So that's
that's
why
true.
Yeah,
That's
true.
true. He
Yeah.
has to
True.
embarrass her by getting arrested at the party, but not before he gives the most awful speech.
yeah.
Like the quintessential abusive man trying to seem like the perfect man. at
Yes.
the party speech.
Yep. It's
all
like I'm gonna
about
be.
her.
It's like in private, I'm gonna be a total dick, but I'm gonna get up in public and say all these great things about you, so everyone thinks
Yeah.
that I'm a great person.
What
So
a
all your
wonderful man
friends
I
think
am.
you're a liar when you tell them how awful I am.
Yeah.
So Bob gets arrested at the party.
Yeah.
And they're like not squeamish about, they're like, you're being arrested for embezzlement. I'm like, is that something we're supposed to just spew out at the party? Or
I think you do have to tell people what they're being
Yeah, you
arrested
have
for
to. Oh.
when you
Right,
arrest
yeah.
someone.
You're saying I'm arresting
You can't
you for
just be
this.
like I'm arresting you and like why? What did I
Yeah.
do?
Now they might
have
not.
to
They would
tell
probably
you.
like say it to you under. They probably wouldn't be like, "You are being arrested," like to the entire room. But like,
I wish cops were like that. And then they just start dancing. You are being arrested.
It just turns into a musical number. They're all dancing around and being like,
it would make getting
"It's
arrested
all
a lot
about
more
you."
fun. It's all about you. You get one phone call. So
Can I say also
These
that
kids are
one of
gonna
my
need so much
favorite
therapy.
parts of this whole movie is watching the mother, Fisher's mother, just cackling in that little
Yeah.
island of the pool next to the piano.
right
Loved
as he
it.
gets arrested. Yeah.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
they both cry. Mary and Bob cry.
Yeah. I could give two shits about him.
I know. I'm like,
yeah.
Cut to the most overacting lawyer
The
in the history of
hammiest.
film.
Oh my
the
God.
hammiest actor.
I mean, that guy was like, I only have 5 minutes of screen time, and I'm gonna make them fucking count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memorable
That guy,
as
like,
fuck.
how did they let him do this? It was completely absurd. It took me
Because
out of the
obviously
story.
they did not rein anyone in on this movie,
I mean, he's-
and that's part of the beauty of it. Everyone is in their own
Let's
story.
all remember that Hillary is for this movie.
I love this movie. Everyone is in their own little world, in their own little film that's entirely about them and their character, so they get to perform.
I mean,
Yes.
he's working.
Great.
He's working the eyebrows. He's working all the octaves.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
making the like little.
He's pulling
faces.
out all the stops. This guy.
He doesn't seem like he seems like a guy that runs a circus or something. Like he's just like ridiculous.
Step right.
It's
Like
like
somebody's trying to
razzle-dazzle
sell
in
you on a
Chicago.
Ponzi scheme
Yeah.
almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says he can get Bob off as long as he gets
Judge Phillips.
Judge Phillips.
This is
Judge
the guy that
Phillips.
tends to be considerate toward white collar criminals.
What judge isn't?
I know,
true.
right?
Well, not the one. Not the one he actually gets.
Not Judge Brown.
Well, we need more of her in this world.
Right.
So that we stop letting white people off for
So this
heinous
is going to
crimes
be
that
their
they
claim.
commit.
They're going to claim that a virus caused the transfer, like a
Oh,
software
yeah,
glitch.
software glitch.
and then Mary finds out that she's also been hacked
Yes.
through this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
he
like,
finds-
computers don't have Swiss bank accounts.
Right.
Yeah, she finds out, which is what I think they did to
Mm-hmm.
get it. The tip off is that they stole money from her. So we don't know if he actually did steal money from her at any point.
I assume they did.
Yeah, he probably did.
I
He's
assume
a
he
fucking
did,
dick.
but he's been like moving money to a Swiss bank
Slowly.
account. Slowly,
Yeah.
but then he moves $200,000
Yeah.
of Mary's money into a Swiss bank account
so
that she did not know about.
She dumps him like
Yeah.
straight away.
Oh yeah.
She's like, get the fuck out.
And his
She's
hand
like,
gets
you can
crushed
abuse
in
me, you can cheat on me, you can drop your kids on me and make them my responsibility, but as soon as you steal my money, I'm out.
I respect that.
I'm out skis.
Not only
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
breaking up, but you're also fired.
Yeah.
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 And
And
that's
then
when
he
Ruth
smashes
gets to
his
cross
hand.
off the career.
Yes.
She
On her
circles him
list.
first, and then she.
Well,
crosses.
no, not career freedom.
Well, freedom is
Oh,
the
no,
last
you're
one.
right, you're right,
She
you're right,
crosses
you're
out
right, you're
career
right.
first.
You're right.
And then we get to Bob's trial.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're banking on Judge Phillips. Ruth has an insider. She's got somebody who
So she calls down to the courthouse.
calls down the courthouse and gets her to switch the judge to Judge Brown.
Which can you just do that lightly?
I don't know courts.
I don't either, but I have a feeling that it's sort of one of those systems like a doctor, and it's just like one of those things like,
Or
you
I
know, if you need a doctor, there are 40 of them here, and I'm going to assign you one.
'Cause I
And
was
like same
wondering-
with judges.
I'm wondering they have to probably like prepare for the cases they're about to.
I would
don't
think,
think
with an,
judges do.
with an embezzlement case, like I think maybe in traffic court, but with an embezzlement case, like that's kind of a big.
Well, but I don't think judges
to-do.
know
I
what's coming in front of them at all because they're supposed to be
judges don't
impartial.
prepare.
Yeah, they don't prepare. They just
Oh.
They have
come
to be a
in.
clean
Yeah,
slate.
they're just
Yeah.
assigned.
that sounds like a
bias.
really good job for me.
Yeah, it's just like
Also,
we could
but
get in
also-
and make,
and I go
and just make
I
decisions.
I think this today.
I
But-
couldn't do that. I would just be like, he's guilty. Lock him up.
But
She's
also,
okay.
I think
you can let her go.
I
Yeah,
think that this
like it.
might not be like. I think that Ruth is calling in a favor. I don't think this is like an employment agency would tell someone in a courthouse what
No,
to do.
no,
This is
no.
like
For
calling in
sure
a
a
favor.
favor.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
for
I mean, because
But
it's
I-
the same woman that she interviewed
Yeah.
when she first
Yeah.
started her.
But I don't
business.
think it's unusual either that like a judge would be switched from a case last minute. I don't think that's unusual.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the same way, like if your doctor is out sick and you still have to go, you're going to see the next best thing, you know?
Well, in any case, Judge Brown nails his ass to the wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
She gives him 18 months, and we get this extremely dramatic, overexposed shot of him looking
Yeah.
shocked.
Well, and even the court stenographer, I'd like to point out, is one of her
Yeah, she's
people.
got
Like
the
she's
rose
got
on.
people all
Yeah,
throughout
yeah.
this thing.
When she fakes typing, which
No.
really bothered me.
Oh yeah.
She had this weird, like zoned out look in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they pop in the script soup for that scene, or
I guess so, probably.
had an actor?
It was just like the PA who was on set that day, and they were like, "I know we're not paying you, but can you just like throw on a jacket and sit over there and fake type?" Just like, I hope I'm doing good. This is my first job.
The director's like, can you give me a look like you just had a lobotomy? Great, that's perfect.
And she was
thanks.
like, "Yes, I know exactly what
Thank
that
you.
looks like."
Perfect.
Mhm.
Great. Print it. Okay, so he goes to jail.
But wait, Ruth is there. She looks evil. She's in like the
Yeah.
creepy, and then like we see like her list go up in flames, and there's like flames underneath her.
Right.
Well, she crosses off freedom and then she burns the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, which good countermeasure there.
Which, by the way, this is the moment where I forgot that they didn't get a divorce or anything. Because he's like,
Yeah.
that's my wife.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah. No, they're
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still married.
Yep.
And he hasn't seen her in God knows how long
He's
at
like,
this point.
and at
Yeah.
that
It's
point,
hard
it's
to
like
say how long this time period is.
Yeah.
I was still under the impression that this is like summer vacation for the kids because like
Just
that's
a
just
few
where my
months.
mind went, you know. And like so for me, it was like she did this real quick.
Yeah.
Well, it
3
seemed like it
months.
happened. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
there's
don't
no
know.
sense of how long. I mean, long enough for Mary to publish a book.
Yeah.
yeah,
So maybe like a year. I don't know.
yeah.
So Mary sells her house.
Mm-hmm.
We get in a voiceover that
And
Mary's
who buys that hideous pink house? Like, let's be real.
somebody who works for Mary Kay.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, or a sorority who's
A
looking for a new
sorority.
house to live in.
Sequel. Sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna write it.
Bob is in jail. He's been relegated to dishwashing. So we get all this information through the voiceover by Ruth, who's sort of saying where everybody kind of.
And he's an
ended up.
awful cook. He can't
He
even
burns
bake.
the lasagna and this hunky.
Oh my god, that sexy man who's
oh
like
my
cooking
God.
and making lasagna.
Like
and
I'm
that-
not even that mad at him.
No,
which I
but
was
that
you
like
Yeah.
that physique is like that's my fave.
But that's not the Gregory Peck physique.
no, I don't like thin guys.
No, I like a good chunky
I
dude.
like-
you know.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
something to grab on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like a guy who can lift me up over his head. Just kidding. I don't.
I see that in Chris.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes when I fall asleep on the couch, I'll be like, "Can you carry me up to bed?" And he's like, "No, I have a bad back."
Yeah.
So Ruth and the kids come to visit Bob. Ruth looking in her new look with her fancy hair and jewelry, and the mole is
Yeah.
gone. She's got makeup and she's looking
fly.
Looking fly.
The positions have changed now.
Right.
Yes.
Bob brings them burned cookies.
Right. The kids trying to act like the cookies
I
are
love
good
that.
was great.
It's
They
crazy.
were so they're like
It's great, Dad.
It's crazy that like he genuinely cares for his children, at least in the fact that he calls his daughter princess, and like
in this one last scene.
in
like,
this one last scene. Like, I mean, maybe it's just because now he's
we
finally made raw, and he's just like, I need someone to love me.
Yeah, I think that's the implication. She kind of implies that maybe he's changed in jail. He doesn't seem different to me. Like the
No.
voiceover says he's changed, but he does not seem any different. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're looking nice, Ruth. Maybe I can come by and cook you guys dinner sometime." And she's like, "That'd be nice."
She's
I'm
like,
like,
"Gross.
"Would it?
Gross."
Would it?"
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Fucking
just her
would it?
trying to
Yeah,
just
exactly.
say shit, you know?
I'd rather see her end up with Michael Fassbender, you guys, or that hunky cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. If she was like in visiting hours and then like looking over at that hunky cook, like, hey, you want to come
I
over later?
would have preferred that. I think they imply that she still wants him back. I couldn't
Yes.
tell.
I couldn't
Yes.
tell either, but I felt like that was sort of the implication, and it like grossed me out a bit.
Yuck.
But
Anyway, so we kind of wrap things up with Mary has written another book. She's being interviewed by Sally Jesse
called
Raphael.
Trust and Betrayal, a docu-novel of love, money, and skepticism.
Said exactly like that too. And she's
Yeah.
looking very Gloria Steinem.
Yes.
Big glasses.
Yes.
very
Yeah.
Gloria Steinem. It
I
was a
love
very
those
weird.
glasses. I would wear those glasses, to be honest with you.
You could rock those glasses.
Okay, did anybody notice that when she's talking about how she got good reviews from the serious critics, that she pushes her glasses
Yeah,
up with
she's
the
like-
bird?
Is
she
Yeah, with
giving
her
them
middle
a-
finger?
Is she giving the
Oh, for
critics
sure.
a middle
Yeah.
finger?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And I think
Okay.
it was like, fuck you, you didn't like my last book. Like I
Nice.
definitely, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
a fuck you.
I'm high-fiving Meryl, you guys. I'm high-fiving her right
High
now.
five her through
I'm pretty
the
sure
space
that was all her,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And she
Oh,
does
yeah.
it again at the bookstore when she's signing books and some guy like says something and she's like,
Yeah.
And
like-
that again? I
Yeah.
didn't
At the
notice that.
bookstore.
And
Yeah.
if I had
So-
glasses, that's exactly what I would do when I was talking to people. But I'd probably be less subtle. I'd be like, "Yo, that was cool. that was a cool thing you just
Wait a
said."
minute, you just flicked me off.
I'm like, no, I was just
Wait,
adjusting
what?
my
No.
glasses
What?
for a long time.
Where? Who am I?
So then we see her sign. We see Mary sign her new book. Ruth goes to get her book signed. How does she not recognize Ruth?
I know, right?
Right?
Like, I know she's got different hair and
She
the mole
doesn't
is
have
gone,
a mole now. It's like that thing
but
where like a girl
she has
takes
this-
off her glasses
She's
and you're
truly
like,
Yeah.
she's
transformed,
beautiful
guys.
now.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have a mole,
Although,
and she's
frankly,
like, oh my god.
For the first half of the movie, I could hardly stare at anything but that mole.
That's true. Fair.
Like, my eyes were just like magnetized.
exactly.
To it.
She was probably like, I don't know who this human is because I only saw a walking mole before.
I mean, that's what Hooper did. She was like, mole, 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 mole.
Oh, where's that from?
Austin Powers.
Mole,
Yeah,
mole,
yeah.
mole, mole, mole. Yeah.
A hot guy approaches Mary at the table.
He
And she
like
takes off her
he's
Gloria
he's hot,
Steinem
but he
glasses.
looks like a fucking creep.
Oh,
He's,
yeah, no, he looks like a fucking
smiling
creep.
like a serial killer.
I'm not
She
gonna
really-
lie. I thought he was quite dapper.
Yes, he was dapper, but he also looked like a serial killer.
I think Mary needs to check her attraction to men.
judgment
There's
skills?
might
Yeah.
be some deep-seated issues that may need some working on. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get to the last image here. So we see Ruth walking off into the world with a gathering crowd of women wearing
Yeah.
red, which I can only assume are women from the employment agency.
yes,
So she's
yes.
marching off into the future with her army, which I liked that image. I liked the
I
idea
really
of her like
did.
really a whole, network of women who had been cast aside that were now going to be doing each other's favors. Because I assumed that if any of those women asked her for a favor, I think she would
do it
return
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Walks like an angel.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the devil in disguise.
I loved the ending of it. I
So-
thought this movie was great.
Final thoughts. I guess Hillary's going there. Final
I thought it
thoughts.
was great. It was so over the
I thought
top.
it was great.
It was ridiculous. I don't know. It was such a bad movie, but it was so good in that it was so bad, and I really
that you
liked
explained
it.
like that because now I see.
Yeah,
how it
like I mean, I
could
don't.
be.
I
Like
like
it
this
was
wasn't like the best
it was
movie
like
I've
a
ever seen. It was
gorgeous
just like
train wreck.
exactly.
Yes.
It was a train wreck that I would watch again and again. It was really just.
Wow.
I thought it was super funny, just in all ways. I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about it. I liked this movie.
Unabashedly likes it, Sarah.
I'm not a big 80s comedy fan, so this was another one of those but I loved Meryl Streep's performance in this very specific type of, I don't think it was great acting. I don't think it was like a good role, but I was entertained by her.
For sure.
All right.
I'll say I was very satisfied to finally know where that scene is from with the bath.
And then you were like,
Bubbles.
I wish I had only seen that. I didn't need to see
You were like, I only needed that one clip.
And then I realized how bad of a voiceover actor Roseanne Barr is, because my God, those lines were
Yeah.
so dead.
Yes.
And no, yeah, I would totally ride on the same train as Hillary here. It's just a fun wreck to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was real fun.
And all these terrible special effect shots that were mixed in, and
Like,
these caricatures that
But
were just
let's
blown
be
up.
honest, it was more entertaining than say Love Story. Have you ever seen Love Story?
haven't.
We
Love Story
watched
was
that last
goddamn
year.
Painful.
Don't watch
It
it.
was so goddamn
Painful.
painful.
Just go and maybe just
go
prick
listen
your
to our
finger a
episode.
few times angrily in the bathroom, and you'll kind of get the point.
Yeah, it feels a lot like that,
It's,
only for
similar to that.
an hour and 45
Yeah.
And
minutes.
on your
no.
emotions.
Oh, jeez. Why would I?
Just don't
I
do
feel
it.
so bad for the guest for that movie. Who
Effie.
was that?
Poor Effie. That
Oh my
she's
God.
like, never let me. I don't want to.
Yeah, they were so upset.
So yeah, oh, God, guys, I consider myself a connoisseur of 80s movies, and I actually love Roseanne. Like, I'm
do
gonna
too.
be on the train
do
of
love her.
I unabashedly love her. I loved the Roseanne show.
Me too.
Didn't care for the last couple seasons; they were atrocious. But generally, I really like her. I think she's a great comedic actor, and very unique. And I love Meryl Streep. This movie, oh God, this movie was like painful. It was like painful.
But you said something about it, Roseanne, when we watched it. You said, I feel like this role could have been played by anyone. Like, I feel like this wasn't it didn't need Roseanne.
It didn't need to be her. I don't think it used her to its maximum. Like, there were a couple of moments where you really saw Roseanne come out, and I think when they're throwing the flyers is one of them. The moments where she's given him the stink eye is another.
The stink eye was what nailed it for me. I was like, oh yeah.
I just feel like it didn't really use her that well. Meryl Streep was on some kind of weird acting crack cocaine that I don't really know what was going on.
Maybe
it was
this
poorly,
movie was filmed in 4 days. Maybe we're just getting it all wrong, and they were just like, "You guys got a weekend free? Let's do some work."
If they filmed it in 4 days, I'm impressed. But I feel like ultimately the movie doesn't know who I'm supposed to dislike. The movie doesn't know what the tone is, and honestly, I like the part where she starts the employment agency, but I also kind of feel like the movie kind of hates women. Like, there's something very hateful about every woman in this movie is hateful for some reason or another. The movie takes that perspective,
Yeah.
I mean, we have
presents
to
them as-
think about the time that it was made.
Yeah.
We're not. I don't know.
We always have to think of the time. I'm tired of thinking about the time.
I don't know. All that aside, I mean, we've watched movies that I think hated women before, and I think
At this time, this was kind of glorifying women, and that was the best that they could do at that point. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. This was before me, so I
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, we've seen other movies where women take control of their lives that have, and then we've seen 9 to 5, we've seen Baby Boom, and I think this movie just all across the board is just it's a train wreck in a way that's not like watching, if any of you have been watching Mystery Science Theater 3000, the new, it's not like watching Reptilicus. It's like, I don't know. I was pained. This movie pained me.
Maybe it didn't pain me because it was just so bad and I like didn't expect a ton from it. And I was just like, I'm here for this ride. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Like Napoleon Dynamite. Like how that just like...
Napoleon Dynamite is a great movie.
Oh my God,
it is a very great movie too, but I mean...
No.
I'll stop.
So, yeah, if you've got an hour and 40 minutes to kill and you want to unnecessarily abuse yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
watch
why not?
watch She-Devil.
Yeah, just do it.
I mean, if it's between this and Love Story,
just pick this.
or punch yourself in the face a few times.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't pick Love Story.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where we read real life casting breakdowns.
Real life.
That will astonish
I love that Hillary is dancing right now.
and make you dance.
It's my favorite
if
segment.
you're Hillary.
Trying to say it right, guys.
Mine too.
So these are real casting breakdowns that we will not out the production company or where we got them from. Or we won't even, let's not even say the title of the project. We'll just.
Okay.
So what I've got here, who wants to read this one?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe we should use the title. The title's
title's
so
fucking
good.
great.
You know.
But it is very conspicuous.
No. Okay, so we're not going to out the production company. We're not going to out where we got this from. This is a real casting breakdown, which Hillary is going to read in 3, 2...
Right, so this is a film called Mermaids Beyond Borders.
Sounds very that sounds like something I want to say.
You would think that borders would mean like state borders or like anything like that, like a border.
I don't know what Mermaids Beyond Borders means, frankly.
But
the
the borders that they're referring to here are like lodgers, like people who are staying in a place.
Oh, goodness. Well,
like
read
a
the
boarding
synopsis.
school.
Read the synopsis.
All right. So, Mermaids Beyond Borders is a feature film based at an American boarding school. After 800 years of mass mermaid suicides, Sea Parliament has usurped the Sea Witch's power
Jesus Christ.
by approval of using science, declaring any mer and any human with the mer gene can become a hybrid and secure bloodlines from extinction, but not without some complications from full-bloods who must learn to live with hybrids as they all integrate into human and sea societies.
Is this a metaphor for
Racism?
Mexico?
for is this a metaphor for the immigration situation?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Are
they taking in mermaid refugees? Are there only certain mermaids allowed from certain states not considered to be mermaid terrorists is what I'm asking you.
I just want to know why they're also doing it at a boarding school. Like, are they just using these teenagers as a like
Harry Potter with mermaids?
It sounds like Harry
If
Potter
I was
with
pitching
mermaids.
it would be like, it's like Harry Potter, but with mermaids.
It sounds like Harry Potter with mermaids, but plus a little Handmaid's Tale thrown in there, and we're gonna put them in a breeding camp. So it's
well, let's read one of the breakdowns.
Okay,
Let's see
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Here's one of the breakdowns.
Aurora, lead female, 18 to 25 years. She's a mermaid boarding school freshman. Looks good in a bikini. First time boarding in house. Stoic at times. Observant, not afraid to stand up for herself. Must be able to cry on cue, swim, dive, open eyes underwater, and be comfortable in water for long hours. Partial nudity. Physique, slim. Ethnic appearance. They actually list like every single ethnicity here, so I'm not going to go through there.
It's a ethnically
Why can't they
diverse.
just say
Yeah.
any?
I think you have to fill up. I think you got to check
I think you do have
boxes.
to check all
I think
boxes.
that's what happened. In
But they
this
did check every
situation.
box
Yeah.
here and every eye color box and hair color box. So I'll give them that.
So as long as you're comfortable in the
do
water,
need to be an
with
alto or
partial,
soprano.
partial nudity.
Yeah. Comfortable in the water. You look good in a bikini. You're comfortable getting nude.
And you two could be in Harry Potter, but with mermaids.
I don't know what Aurora does in the film, but she's
No.
got to be naked.
And slim.
Slim,
Tight.
naked, and
Tight.
not
Tight,
afraid
tight,
to
tight,
stand
tight,
up
tight.
for herself. Yeah.
All right. So
Thin, naked, not afraid to stand up for herself. If that sounds like you,
give these guys a
submit
call.
to Mermaid Without Borders.
Yeah. We got a real winner here on our hands for the next breakdown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what's this film called, Sarah?
Disturbing serial killer / captor film.
It's a snappy title.
Snappy.
Parentheses, graphic sexuality.
So right off the bat,
It is
Right
a
off the bat.
feature film.
I'm just going to start whispering that under different things. Graphic sexuality.
All right, here's a synopsis. Serial killer is bored of killing street hookers and graduates to kidnapping an everyday male and female, keeping them captive in his basement and subjecting them to a variety of mental and physical torment. New and creative genre of film, artistic, extremely disturbing, and sexual content. No actual nudity, just everything worse.
whoa. What the fuck does that
What does
mean?
that mean?
That means an extreme close-up of your vag.
Just being hammered,
not- it's-
hammered by a hatchet.
Here are these special...
God. I just like that it's a new and exciting genre of film or whatever.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
call
that
it.
sounds like every serial killer
sounds
film
like-
I've ever heard of.
Like I have been binge watching Criminal Minds now again for like the 14th time, and it sounds like every single episode
And
of
if you
that
have
I've
to
ever seen.
say new and creative genre film, it's probably not. Like you have to
Also,
say that.
Let's just be real, guys. There are no new genres of films. We just keep remaking the same film.
I don't
over
know.
and
I
over
think
again
Mermaid
now.
Boarding School
That's
is
true.
a new genre.
No,
for
it's
sure.
not because it's Harry Potter with mermaids. It's the
Yes.
same movie we've seen before, but
Okay.
with mermaids.
All right, so
Here are
let's get to the breakdown.
Here are these special instructions first. Must be committed to role in what is intended to be an extremely disturbing and controversial film.
Oh God, we've got a Quentin Tarantino on our hands, guys.
Okay, here is the role. Female victim. Lead female 18 to 21 years.
So no name there.
College age.
College age, of course.
Innocent looking and acting. Think a cute puppy that would be detrimental to see anything bad happen to.
Oh my God.
Not sexy, not hot, not mature looking, cute. No tattoos, reliable and committed to the project.
I would like an infant who's comfortable with me totally brutalizing her on camera.
Like I can't. I'm speechless, you guys.
Like
Like I know we read a lot of these on the show.
Like, but what person?
It's a lead without a name.
What adult person is not sexy, not hot, not mature looking, but cute?
What?
Like, who?
This description of the puppy
The
is
puppy.
what bothers me the
Yeah,
most.
stick a
Puppy.
cute puppy that would be detrimental to see anything bad. This sounds like someone who
How
is like
about
a
like a
fucking
human?
serial killer.
How about a human that we'd be upset to see hurt? Why does it have to be a puppy? Like I
Okay,
can still
look,
feel empathy for other
I'm
humans.
gonna submit to this role, but I'm gonna grow out all my body hair, and I'm gonna be like, look, hairy like a puppy.
Y'all, it does pay $50 an hour. So,
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
shit.
an hour?
yeah, but it says no tattoos. Fuck, I'm out.
Okay, today I thought I said $50
Hillary,
a day.
Hillary, I've always considered you to be puppy-like.
That's how I see myself.
I mean, I shit wherever I want.
I do.
I
Yeah.
eat table scraps,
You're 100% right.
and I hump everyone's leg that comes in the door.
But
yeah,
both of
if,
you,
this
if
is the
not
role
more
I was
than just their
born
leg.
to
but
play.
wait, you both are sexy and mature looking.
Am I mature looking?
It's only
I
because
still get
of my
carded,
boobs.
and I'm almost 40.
And I find myself very sexy, so
Well, guys, if you are looking to be part of an exciting new genre of film where women are abused on camera,
like puppies.
and you look like a puppy, your Hollywood dreams are about to come true.
What does a woman who looks like a puppy look like? Do they have like large droopy eyes like a basset hound and like kind of drool a little bit and like when they get excited
I
they're
was
like
thinking more like a Yorkshire Terrier,
oh yeah, these little ears and they're just like eep, beep, 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 beep.
and they
All the
look
time?
maybe they have a bit of a beard.
yeah yeah they're just like all
Yorkshire
gray.
Terriers are my favorite.
Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about what our guest is up to and what we're up to, where you can find all the delightful things that everyone is putting out into the world. Michelle, what would you like to plug?
Well, hey guys, Michelle Pokopac here, and I'm currently on tour for James and the Giant Peach. That's at Georgia Ensemble Theater in Roswell. Right now, we're just already booked with schools and stuff, but I mean, hey, if you ever have interest in following me and what kind of works I'm doing, feel free to check out my Instagram page. It's simply my last name, Pokopac, Pokopac, like Pokemon, but not. So, yeah.
And it's lots of fun. If you're interested in like fun backstage theater pics, like she's got the cutest,
the best backstage pics.
Yes.
Like always with props and puppets and just awesome
puppets.
shit.
Yeah, it's like it's not just like look at this rack of costumes. It's like I've got props.
It's like me with a puppet, or like Michelle with puppet draped all over
and
her.
especially for those with little ones, we are actually going to, what do you call it? What's it called when you bring back a show?
Revival?
Not revamp, but like
Reboot. That's what they call movies.
Anyways, we're bringing back Play with Cat the Cat. This is over at the Alliance Theater. It's part of the Children for
which I missed last time. So you guys are going to do it again?
So it's like an encore.
Totally. So we've
nice.
been brought back. This will be our third year, which is incredible because they usually don't repeat shows.
Now, when are they going to be doing that one?
So this time, well, because if you don't already know, the Alliance is doing an off-location season because they're rebuilding it.
They're rebuilding. Oh, that's right.
They got
I've
that
seen-
huge grant.
Yeah, they're rebuilding the whole theater.
The whole thing.
Holy
Backstage,
shit.
costume shop, scene shop, the Hurt stage also.
Nice.
And so that's very exciting. And so with this new season, they're doing all their shows in different theaters, different locations. Most of them are ITP, but some of them are OTP.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's inside the perimeter and outside the perimeter for those of you who do not live in Atlanta.
yes.
We do have some Finnish listeners, you guys. I've discovered through our stats. Anyway.
Cool. Hey.
Hey, Finland.
But with this show, because it's theater for very young audience, which means that it caters towards 0 to 5-year-olds, this will stay at the Alliance, I do believe, because that's in the black box on the 3rd floor, which is their education level.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will be in a different location. But anyways, that will go up, I think, the spring of 2018, probably not until March. I have to double check on that. It's on the website.
Cool.
Check it out.
I'll bring my kids, and they will probably interrupt your show because they just
We need that.
wander.
We need that.
They
Actually,
wander.
it's a very interactive kind of experience, which is perfect because we want these kids to be able to feel like they're part of the show, and so we don't discourage any kind of behavior or emotion. You can cry as much as you want. We will work with that.
I'll be there.
Sometimes I do cry
Just
when I'm
sobbing
in
in
public
the
with my
audience
kids.
for
And
no
that's
reason.
fine.
I frequently cry when I'm in public with my children.
I normally cry alone in my car.
Hillary's going to be like the weird adult crying in the corner.
Just like alone, no children with me, just like
I've had a lot of adult friends come and see the show, so don't feel like you
Yeah.
need to bring a child to see the show. You will not.
Yeah,
be the
Hillary,
only one
translation,
most of the time.
don't bring a child in off the street.
just gonna go and lure a child with me. Oh my god! I actually go to a lot of children's shows. Like I have a friend of mine who I go to children's shows with him because he loves them so much, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a man. Like I can't just go by myself." And he was like, "You have to come with me." So like he and I
There
go to a
have
lot
been
of
men
children's
that have
shows.
done this, and
Yeah.
it works fine.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are, but he's just like, I'd just rather avoid the looks. Come with me, and so we go see children's shows all the time, and
Aw.
it's
It's
great.
so true.
I love
It's
it.
like men can't get away with being around kids without everyone thinking he's a pet.
Yeah, that's true.
But I get free theater tickets, so keep thinking that, world, because I like getting free theater tickets.
So yeah,
go
hit
to
me up
shows.
if you guys want to go. By
Yeah,
the way,
I
'cause
definitely would love to
Yeah.
take
totally
the kids
hook
to
y'all
that.
up.
Do you
Oh,
have
yeah.
anything going on in May?
So James and the
That's-
Giant Peach will be going on
Okay,
through
great.
May. But
When
unfortunately,
how long does that run till?
like first or second week of May. So unfortunately,
Right.
we've already had our only public performance. But
in Georgia, but there are listeners that maybe in another state that can find you if you're going because you're on tour, or is it in Atlanta? Like, is it touring
it's
Georgia?
Just Georgia.
Well, that's great though, because we do have listeners in different parts of the state. So, if you're looking to see some good, bringing your kids to some good theater.
Excuse me.
Can they find this information on Alliance's website? Where can they find out?
That's
where
Georgia
the tour is?
Ensemble.
Oh, sorry, Georgia Ensemble. I got confused.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, that is already booked through schools strictly. So it's not
it's
necessarily
school. So
like, yeah.
if you're in school and a theater company arrives, look
for Michelle.
She might be there.
Yeah, or just listen for her voice since you don't know what she looks like.
Well, there'll be a picture of her on the Facebook page.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Oh yeah. Follow her
on
Instagram.
Instagram. Sarah, what would you like to plug?
Well, you can still find Dick Pic Professional, the short film I wrote and directed starring Hillary Heath. R. Heath.
I wonder who that is.
That's sitting right next to me. It is about a professional dick pic photographer, and it is still available on our Vimeo channel, and we'll be submitting it to film festival soon, so stay tuned for
Dick Pic. Go watch it. It's funny. It's so fucking funny, you guys.
Fucking funny. Don't watch it at work though. Maybe there's
No.
not a lot of nudity in it.
NSFW.
Well, watch it at work, but really openly, and when your boss walks by, just be like, "What?
Just own it.
What?"
Be like, what? Boobs.
boobs. There's no boobs in that movie.
There's no boobs in it.
But you should just say it out like
Yeah,
that. Just be like, boobs.
I think that they'll respect you more for it. Your coworkers will fear you.
Sure. Like, who knows what she's going to say next. Okay. Hillary, what would you like to plug?
I'm really excited because I have a new film that I wrote and directed.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God,
And it's
tell me more.
Starring the beautiful Nicole Kemper.
Oh my God.
And the
I'm in it.
and the fabulous Jasmine Waters.
Yes.
Page? No, I don't know. Is she?
Oh my
She's just got
God.
married, so I don't know
Is
if
she
she's
going to change her stage name? We don't know.
I don't think she's changing her stage
No.
name. I think it's just a title change for
Okay.
her. It's a promotion in title only.
Got it.
And stage name stays
Got
the
it.
same.
Wait, what would her name be if she did change it?
Paige,
Jasmine Page.
which is still a pretty great name.
It is great. It
Yeah.
sounds like
I think
sounds
that if
like
she
like a model's name or something.
I think she's told me before that if she
runway
writes a
model.
book, she wants to do it under Jasmine Page, but she wants to stick with Jasmine Waters for her acting.
I'm glad we resolved this.
Yeah,
on the podcast.
Yeah, just Jasmine, feel free to write it and correct us.
Audience, if you would like to weigh in on whether she should keep her name or not, send your
we'll put
send
a
your
poll
thoughts
out on
to,
Twitter.
Send your thoughts to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.
But yeah, it stars Nicole Kemper and Jasmine Waters.
Yeah.
The film is called Bad Day. It will be coming
And
out in
Brian
June.
Ashton Smith.
Brian Ashton Smith,
Andy
Fleming. It's really funny, just about two ladies who have a bad day and end up bonding at the bar over fried foods and martinis.
Which is
and
basically every
yeah,
weekend
it's
for me.
it's pretty much every weekend, and I think it's pretty great. I hope you guys
think
like
so
it.
too.
It'll be out soon.
Excellent. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes, and subscribe to our Vimeo channel,
and then you'll know the moment
it'll
it comes
just show
out.
up, and it'll notify you, and it'll be super unobtrusive, and it'll just be like, "Hey, by the way, there's a new video for you to see," and then
And you're
you'll
like,
be
"Oh my God, I was
God,
just looking for a video to
that's so
watch."
great." Yeah.
All right. I would like to plug. So hopefully, if you are following our Facebook page or our Instagram or our Twitter account, which you know why you should be, Critical Crop Top on Facebook,
Everything.
Critical Crop Top on Instagram, Critical Crop Top on Twitter. If you've been following us, you know that we've got new sketch shows. We're going to be doing some new live shows this summer of sketch.
3 shows.
3 shows this summer.
5 performances total.
By the time you hear this, hopefully we'll have finally booked a space for the first show. It's been a emotional roller coaster trying to get a place that hasn't been booked already.
And just in case, if you have a space that you want to like loan us,
Send
like
your photos of your theatrical space.
or at this
to-
point, when this comes out, just email us and we'll take it.
we'll take it
We'll
wherever.
just
It doesn't
take it.
matter if it's in a alley or a warehouse,
Like we'll take it.
or your basement.
If we can set up some chairs there and sell some alcohol, we'll be there.
So we're hopefully we'll have the space booked by then. But we're going to be doing 3 shows this summer. We're calling it the Summer of Sketch, and the first show is going to be in June.
Yeah.
And in piggybacking off of that, we're going to be we're announcing right here on the podcast that we're going to be doing a new crowdfunding campaign to raise money for the sketch show. So please take a moment to watch the very funny video that we made for the crowdfunding campaign and consider contributing to the sketch show.
It's tax deductible.
It is fucking tax deductible. And you can find out more information on our Facebook page at Critical Crop Top. You can find more information on Twitter or Instagram. We'll be posting about it. So keep an eye out for that. We've got lots of fun things that we'll be releasing during the crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah.
And thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you, Michelle, for being a part of the
It's
show.
been a blast.
Great.
Thank you.
We love you. And thank you for putting yourself through watching this movie. This
Can we please do
atrocious
this
movie.
again? Just saying, if you need another guest, hit me up.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%
Hit me up.
Listeners, you can subscribe to this podcast, Feminine Mistake Podcast, on iTunes, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud.
And actually, it's Apple Podcasts now.
It's
not
Apple
iTunes.
Podcasts. So we're transitioning from calling it iTunes to Apple Podcasts, which doesn't roll off the tongue, but
really
I'll figure
doesn't.
it out.
Really
I'll
doesn't.
figure it out.
I love you. I
Why
actually own
couldn't
all
they
your
just use
products.
iPod. Oh wait, they already have that.
Oh my God, that would have been so
Oh my God, if they had just
smart.
waited to call it iPod. Oh my God.
You're welcome, Apple.
Apple.
And if you've got a nervous breakdown that you would like us to read on the show, you can send that or your correspondence to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.